Chapter 1883. The middle-aged Taoist's mastery of the lightning emperor technique was extremely high. Purple lightning gathered in his attack, containing the true meaning of the lightning Tao. He wanted to kill Zhao Ritian. The middle-aged Taoist's eyes were sharp. He could see that Zhao Ritian was not in a good condition. He was in a stalemate with the golden finger bone. As long as he killed Zhao Ritian, the Emperor Yen Cauldron would become an ownerless object. He would then be able to obtain the Emperor Yen Cauldron and the golden finger bone. Damn it! Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with rage. He did not expect someone to take advantage of him at this moment. However, he had placed all his energy on the Emperor Yen Cauldron. There was no way he could defend against the middle-aged Taoist's attack. Zhao Ritian was even prepared to take the middle-aged Taoist's attack head-on. Get lost! Suddenly, a loud roar exploded in the void. A huge black seal flew across the sky. It was spinning with a blazing light. It was heavy and ancient as it pressed down on the middle-aged Taoist's head. Ling Xiao had made his move. Moreover, he had used the flipping sky seal. What? This is the flipping sky seal. The middle-aged Taoist's face changed. When he saw the huge black seal above his head, he could not help but exclaim. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Why would the flipping sky seal of the War God Temple appear here? Could it be that the person who attacked was Long Outyin of the War God Temple? The middle-aged Taoist's thoughts changed. However, when he felt the aura of the flipping sky seal above his head that made him tremble, he did not dare to continue attacking Zhao Ritian. In an instant, he raised both his palms and faced the flipping sky seal. Rumble! Terrifying lightning rose like a roaring thunder dragon. It blasted towards the flipping sky seal above his head. It exploded with a dazzling divine light. It was extremely terrifying. The blazing lightning exploded. In the sky full of light, the flipping sky seal suppressed everything. It broke through the endless lightning and smashed the middle-aged Taoist into the ground. It's you? Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a complicated look. He did not expect to see Ling Xiao here. Moreover, Ling Xiao had saved him. Flipping sky seal? So it was really obtained by this kid. This guy is really lucky. Second uncle's surprised voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. Second uncle, do you know the flipping sky seal? Zhao Ritian asked curiously. You know him? Not only do we know each other, interesting. Second uncle chuckled. Rumble. The middle-aged Taoist soared into the sky from the ground. His aura became extremely chaotic. His face was pale and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. He looked extremely miserable and his eyes were extremely gloomy. Long Outyin, I have no grudge against you. Why did you ambush me? The middle-aged Taoist stared at Ling Xiao and asked. He was furious. Zhao Ritian had offended Grand Elder Huang Tai before, and now he had appeared in Taixin City and attended the alchemy talisman ceremony. The middle-aged Taoist had decided that as soon as he left the small alchemy talisman realm, he would immediately send news of Ling Xiao back to his clan. No enmity? I just don't like you. What can you do about it? Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his expression calm and indifferent. Damn it. Zhao Ritian, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have the flipping sky seal. If you don't have the flipping sky seal, I can kill you like a dog. The middle-aged Taoist said angrily. What a boring assumption. If I had the cultivation of a 9th transformation half-saint, you wouldn't even be able to take one blow from me. I'm really curious. Why would someone from the 9 imperial gates secretly attend the alchemy talisman ceremony? Ling Xiao smiled coldly and stared at the middle-aged Taoist. His eyes were extremely cold. What does it have to do with you? Zhao Ritian, you don't know how many people are looking for you outside. I didn't expect you to hide here. You're dead. No one can save you now. The middle-aged Taoist looked at Ling Xiao coldly, but he already had the intention to retreat. Ling Xiao had the flipping sky seal in his hands. He could not take advantage of him at all. Instead, he was in danger of dying. Therefore, he had already decided to escape. As for the extreme Tao Emperor weapon on Zhao Ritian, he did not care about it for the time being. It seems like you're forcing me to kill you. You don't know what's good for you. Ling Xiao sneered. In an instant, a sharp radiance shot out from his palm. The flipping sky seal gave off a blazing light and flew towards the middle-aged Taoist again. Swoosh! The middle-aged Taoist's face changed. This time, he was already prepared. When the flipping sky seal flew towards him, he instantly shifted to the side. Rumble! The flipping sky seal landed in the void. However, its momentum did not decrease. It directly hit the golden finger bone in the distance. Unparalleled divine power exploded, causing the golden finger bone to tremble violently. Originally, the Emperor Yen Cauldron and the golden finger bone were in a state of balance. Now that Ling Xiao had used the flipping sky seal to suppress the golden finger bone, the balance was instantly broken. Boom! The Emperor Yen Cauldron suddenly gave off an unparalleled radiance. Blazing flames rose up and an extremely violent aura exploded from Zhao Ritian's body. You're really courting death. Zhao Ritian's eyes were bloodshot and instantly landed on the middle-aged Taoist. What? The middle-aged Taoist's body trembled. Instantly, he felt his scalp go numb. His eyes were filled with incomparable terror. Immediately, he leaped up and fled madly into the distance. Trying to escape? Zhao Ritian sneered. He flew across the sky and punched towards the middle-aged Taoist. It was like a dazzling sun, giving off unparalleled divine radiance. At the same time, Ling Xiao controlled the flipping sky seal to suppress the middle-aged Taoist. Bastard! You're all dead. I'll make sure you die without a burial place. The middle-aged Taoist's eyes were filled with hatred. He was unable to withstand the combined attack of Zhao Ritian and Ling Xiao. Instantly, he gritted his teeth and took out the dazzling jade talisman. Then he crushed it. Rumble! A dazzling radiance exploded from the jade talisman. It immediately enveloped the middle-aged Taoist and was about to teleport him out of the small pill talisman realm. Suppress! The flames in Zhao Ritian's eyes rose as he roared. In an instant, a blazing flame erupted and the Yen Emperor Cauldron appeared in the void, sealing off the entire area. Although the jade talisman contained an incomparably mysterious teleportation power, it was no match for the Emperor Yen Cauldron. In an instant, it was suppressed by the Emperor Yen Cauldron. The blazing flame immediately enveloped the middle-aged Taoist. The middle-aged Taoist let out an incomparably miserable shriek. His entire body was enveloped by the golden flame. His aura rapidly weakened and in an instant, he turned into nothingness. What a domineering extreme Dao Emperor weapon! Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. His eyes revealed a tinge of caution. He knew Zhao Ritian's character very well. He was afraid that this guy would attack him at the slightest provocation. Ling Xiao, what are you afraid of? Although I really want to suppress you, you've saved my life today. However, you have saved my life today. I, Zhao Ritian, am not an ungrateful person. I will let you go for now. Zhao Ritian looked at Ling Xiao with some evil intentions. He was eager to try, but in the end he said helplessly. Chapter 1884. Zhao Ritian's biggest obsession was to defeat Ling Xiao. However, now wasn't the time. Ling Xiao had just saved his life and he couldn't do such an ungrateful thing. However, Zhao Ritian was confident that he could defeat Ling Xiao. He smiled proudly and said, Ling Xiao, just you wait. Not only will I defeat you, but I will also crush you in alchemy. The champion of the pill talisman ceremony this time will be me, Zhao Ritian. Crush me in alchemy? I'm looking forward to it, Ling Xiao said with a smile. He wasn't angry at all. Buzz. Zhao Ritian controlled the Flame Emperor Cauldron. Without the obstruction of the golden finger bone, he instantly absorbed the Red Scorpion King into the cauldron to refine it. His eyes were filled with excitement. Ling Xiao, this is the third Demon King expert that I have subdued in the small pill talisman boundary. Do you want me to give this Red Scorpion King to you? Consider it as repaying your kindness for saving my life. Zhao Ritian said proudly. The third Demon King? To be able to subdue so many Demon Kings, you're really something. However, forget about the Red Scorpion King. I'm not interested in it. Give me all the Red Scorpion roots in the stone hall. How about that? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Red scorpion roots? No problem. Zhao Ritian said nonchalantly. Although the red scorpion roots were precious and had even evolved into a origin source sacred medicine and gave birth to the red scorpion fruit, the red scorpion roots weren't the spiritual medicine that Zhao Ritian was looking for. Therefore, he didn't care about it. Thank you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and collected all the red scorpion roots. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. After finding the red scorpion roots, he had collected all the spiritual medicines on the list and passed the assessment of the small pill talisman boundary. The scarlet scorpion root and the scarlet scorpion root were even more surprising. Ling Xiao was even thinking about how he could refine them into pills to increase his cultivation. During this period, Ling Xiao felt that his cultivation was still too weak. Not to mention Lin Shi, Xiao Rui, Huang Xuanzong and the others, even Zhao Ritian's cultivation had already reached the 7th revolution half-saint realm. Although Ling Zhao's physical body was strong, cultivation was the foundation. Although he had the ambition of attaining sainthood through his body, it did not mean that he would give up on other aspects of cultivation. On the contrary, Ling Zhao's laws of the way, his soul, his body, and even his force of heart had never fallen behind. Rumble. Powerful auras gushed out one after another as the Yen Emperor Cauldron in Zhao Ritian's eyes emitted blazing flames. 4 powerful auras rushed out from within and surrounded Zhao Ritian, looking extremely imposing. A little red bird, a crimson-armored scorpion king, a venomous wasp king whose entire body was glowing with golden light, and a pitch-black, incomparably majestic black bear. The poisonous wasp king and the black bear monster were actually refined and subdued by you? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise as he looked at the few figures in the void. The wasp king and the black bear monster had also fallen into Zhao Ritian's hands. In addition to the little red bird and the red-armored scorpion king, the 4 demon kings were all powerful. Other than the black bear monster, who was slightly weaker, the other 3 demon kings were all powerful. They were not weaker than the peak 9th revolution half-saint. You know them? Hee, I was just outside the desert and coincidentally encountered the venomous wasp king and the black bear monster fighting. I killed the venomous wasp king and captured the wasp king and the black bear monster. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. At this moment he was surrounded by the 4 demon kings. His aura was overwhelming and he looked extremely majestic and mysterious. However, his face was too smug and his eyes were filled with a flaunting look. He looked a little despicable. You're amazing. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a strange look. This Zhao Ritian was really too strong. When he thought of Zhao Ritian's unparalleled Great Emperor Fist technique and the terrifying Yen Emperor Cauldron, even Ling Xiao was a little jealous. This guy's luck was a little too good. Ling Xiao, this golden finger bone is for you. Since you're walking the path of becoming a saint with your physical body, perhaps you can try using the Extreme Emperor's aura to refine your physical body. However, you must know your limits. Don't play yourself to death. Zhao Ritian grabbed the golden finger bone from afar and threw it to Ling Xiao. The Extreme Emperor's aura of the Yen Emperor Cauldron was retracted and the golden finger bone became quiet again. However, the finger bone looked dazzling and there was a drop of golden blood in it. It was extremely exquisite and mysterious. When Zhao Ritian handed it over to Ling Xiao, there was a hint of reluctance in his eyes. However, he handed it over without hesitation. Are you sure you want to give this golden finger bone to me? Don't you know that this is the finger bone of an unparalleled great emperor? Ling Zhao's gaze turned serious as he looked at Zhao Ritian and asked seriously. It could be said that whether it was the scarlet scorpion root or the scarlet armored scorpion king, all of them added together could not compare to this golden finger bone. In fact, this golden finger bone was the most precious treasure in the small pill talisman realm. However, Zhao Ritian did not even blink when he took it out. This made Ling Xiao shocked and confused. I know. However, if you give this finger bone to me, I'll only refine it to increase my cultivation. It's more useful to you. Perhaps it can help you take that step. Zhao Ritian said slowly with a rare serious look on his face. Alright, if that's the case, I won't be unreasonable. Thank you. Ling Xiao cupped his fists at Zhao Ritian and solemnly accepted the golden finger bone. Ling Xiao could even feel the wordless heavenly book trembling with excitement. However, Ling Xiao did not place the golden finger bone in the wordless heavenly book. If it was swallowed by the wordless heavenly book just like that, it would be a waste. Ling Xiao kept it in his small world and prepared to comprehend the golden finger bone, especially the drop of golden blood in the golden finger bone. Ling Xiao could faintly feel that it might contain a huge secret. Following that, Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian searched the entire stone hall. However, they did not find anything valuable. Moreover, the entire stone hall seemed ordinary. Even the mysterious halo that shrouded the stone hall had disappeared. It was as if the golden finger bone in the stone hall was the reason for the mysterious aura from before. After Ling Xiao kept the finger bone, the mysterious aura no longer existed. Ling Xiao, I'll take my leave first. I hope you can pass the test of the small pill talisman realm. Don't be eliminated here. That would be too boring. Zhao Ritian smiled proudly at Ling Xiao. Don't worry. As long as you're not eliminated, I won't be eliminated. I'll be waiting for you in the third stage. Chapter 1885. Zhao Ritian nodded his head and glanced at Ling Xiao. Instantly, he leaped into the sky and disappeared into the void. Ling Xiao looked at Zhao Ritian's disappearing figure and left the desert as well. Second uncle, that golden finger bone is extremely valuable. Why did you ask me to give it to Ling Xiao? Zhao Ritian asked curiously. That golden finger bone is indeed very valuable. It's a great emperor's finger bone. Even if you were to exchange it for dozens of perfect holy treasures, it wouldn't be a problem. However, that finger bone might not be of much use to you, but it's extremely valuable to Ling Xiao. If he could uncover the secret of the finger bone and even use the extreme emperor's aura to refine his body, he might be able to take that step and become a sage. You and Ling Xiao both came from the mortal realm. You don't have any deep grudges against him. It'll be beneficial for you to form a good relationship with him. After all, the great tribulation of the era isn't something that a single person can withstand. When the time comes, even an unparalleled great emperor can't guarantee that he'll be able to survive the great tribulation. Therefore, as long as there's a chance of survival, you have to fight for it. I can see that chance of survival from you and Ling Xiao. Second uncle said slowly. His voice was filled with emotions and vicissitudes. A chance of survival? Alright. Zhao Ritian didn't quite understand, but he understood second uncle's words. It was worth it to form a good relationship with Ling Xiao just for a mere great emperor's finger bone. Let's go. Subduing the 3 demon kings in the small pill talisman realm is already a great reward. Let's go to the swamp and have a look. The last few spiritual herbs on your list should be there. Second uncle said slowly. Zhao Ritian nodded his head and flew towards the huge lake in the distance. More than half of the day had passed. In the small pill talisman realm, the battles between the people became more and more frequent. In the beginning, everyone entered the small pill talisman realm to search for the heavenly treasures on their lists. They fought against the demonic beasts and searched for various treasures. However, at the final moment, many of them couldn't hold back. Especially when the treasures on some people's lists overlapped. For a stock of spiritual medicine or even a gem, a huge battle would break out. Although tens of thousands of alchemists and talisman masters had participated in the alchemy talisman ceremony, many of them had been eliminated in less than a day. Moreover, many of them would have lost their lives in the minor alchemy talisman realm if Master Jiao hadn't given everyone a token. Ling Xiao left the desert and flew towards a barren mountain at the end of the desert. Lin Shi had sent a message to Ling Xiao, saying that Lin Shi and Jin Se were in that desolate mountain, searching for a kind of natural treasure. She wanted Ling Xiao to help. Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. He was like a bolt of lightning, traversing tens of thousands of meters in the blink of an eye. He quickly flew across the vast desert and arrived at the barren mountain. Ling Xiao saw Lin Shi and Jin Se in a barren mountain that was emitting a scorching hot aura. Zhao Ritian, you're here? Help me. The moment Lin Shi saw Ling Xiao, her eyes lit up. Jin Se, on the other hand, nodded at Ling Xiao. Her eyes were incomparably cold, like an ancient well without ripples. Help? Are you guys trying to activate this volcano? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of surprise. The barren mountain in front of him looked to be thousands of meters tall. The aura was scorching hot, and there was no vegetation growing on it. The rocks were a reddish-brown color. At the top of the mountain, there was a huge volcanic crater emitting billowing smoke. It was as if lava would spurt out at any time. That barren mountain was actually a volcano, and it was a volcano that could erupt at any time. Lin Shi and Jin Se had set up a super-large array around the volcano. Blazing divine light intertwined, faintly intertwining with the volcano, as if mysterious flames were seeping out of the array. Ling Xiao could tell at a glance that this super-large-scale array that Lin Shi and Jin Se had set up was precisely to stimulate this dormant volcano before their eyes. That's right. This volcano is the legendary 8-barren fire dragon vein. There are natural treasures that both Jin Se and I need, so we have to expend so much effort to activate this volcano. Lin Shi laughed bitterly. 8-barren fire dragon vein? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. His majestic primordial spirit spread out, enveloping the entire mountain range. Even his primordial spirit went deep into the ground. Only then did he realize that this barren mountain was extraordinary. With the volcano in front of him as the center, the surrounding 7 mountains were all in the shape of dragons. It was as if 8 majestic and mysterious dragons were lying dormant on the ground, and they were connected head to tail. The terrain was winding, and it was incomparably majestic. Under the 8 mountains, it was like a blazing furnace. The earth fire was incomparably strong, and it was so hot that even Ling Zhao's primordial spirit could not bear it. The volcano in front of him was the only exit for the underground furnace. The majestic underground flames and magma had to be spewed out through this volcano. This was indeed the 8-barren fire dragon vein mentioned in Feng Shui. I didn't expect that you guys would find such a strange place. Are you looking for the golden lotus of earthly fire or the fire seed of the dragon vein? Ling Xiao said with some surprise. Zhao Ritian, you have such a deep understanding of Feng Shui? That's right. The reason why we activated this volcano is for the earth fire golden lotus and the dragon vein kindling. On my list is the dragon vein kindling, and on Jin Se's list is the earth fire golden lotus. Lin Shi looked at Ling Xiao with some surprise and nodded. If you want to obtain the dragon vein kindling and the earth fire golden lotus, you need to activate this volcano and go to the mouth of the volcano to find these 2 treasures. You guys have already set up the array. Next, you just need to activate the array. I will activate the array for you. You guys can prepare to go to the mouth of the volcano to look for the dragon vein kindling and the earth fire golden lotus. Ling Xiao nodded and said, at the moment when the volcano was activated, the dragon vein kindling and the earth fire golden lotus were the easiest to obtain. This was the reason why Lin Shi and Jin Se had waited for Ling Xiao. However, Lin Shi originally wanted to activate the array personally to activate the volcano. She did not expect Ling Xiao to take the initiative to take over. Are you sure? Although this array is not very complicated, it requires a huge amount of saint energy. It's not that I look down on you, but you are only a 2nd revolution half-saint. I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to activate the array. Lin Shi said with a smile. After all, she was only a 9th revolution half-true saint. So, she found it difficult to fully activate the formation. If a 2nd revolution half-true saint were to activate the formation, he would have been sucked into dregs before the formation could be fully activated. So, she was afraid that a 2nd revolution half-true saint expert would be sucked into dregs before the formation could be fully activated. You guys should prepare to collect the dragon vein kindling and the earth fire golden lotus. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He did not reply to Lin Shi directly. Instead, he suddenly struck out with his palm. Vast and vigorous saint energy surged out, penetrating through the void and directly merging into the large formation around the volcano. Rumble! Blazing divine light erupted, and the runes lit up one after another. The great array was slowly activated, and it began to emit a vast and ancient aura. Chapter 1886. Ling Zhao's body emitted a blazing light. The golden glow was incomparably dazzling. The majestic cultivation in his body poured into the formation, dyeing the entire area golden. The runes on the formation intertwined and turned into blazing flames. In the end, there were tens of thousands of flames gathered together and roasted the volcano. How can this kid have such majestic saint power? Lin Shi was a little shocked. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. Even if she personally took action, she would need to accumulate power for a while before she could fully activate the formation. However, after Ling Xiao took action, the formation was instantly activated. Moreover, the majestic saint power did not show any signs of exhaustion. This was not the saint power that a second transformation half-saint expert could possess. This made Lin Shi's heart tremble. Rumble. The 108,000 pores on Ling Zhao's body opened up. Each pore was like a spatial door, drawing in the majestic energy of heaven and earth from the surrounding void. Therefore, even though Ling Xiao poured a vast amount of saint energy into the formation, it did not affect him at all. Instead, it made the saint energy in his body purer and purer. The volcano is about to erupt. Jin Se said calmly. There was a trace of surprise in her eyes. The volcano in the distance was being roasted by the endless flames. Its entire body emitted a dazzling light and began to tremble slightly. There were even wisps of green smoke permeating the air. Lin Shi could not help but be shocked. She temporarily suppressed the surprise in her heart and took a deep breath. Her eyes were filled with anticipation. The fire seed of the dragon vein was a top-grade treasure of heaven and earth. The earth fire golden lotus was an origin source sacred medicine. These two treasures complemented each other and were almost lost in the divine world. After all, the fire seed of the 8 barren fire dragon vein was too difficult to find. As long as the fire seed of the dragon vein and the earth fire golden lotus were collected, Lin Shi and Jin Se would have all the treasures they needed. Rumble. The volcano's trembling became more and more violent. In the end, the flames rose and the surrounding void was somewhat distorted. A dazzling light bloomed in the volcano's crater. It became more and more gorgeous and dazzling. It directly turned into a pillar of fire that soared into the sky. The flame gushed out and soared into the sky. It looked like a giant flame tree. It was very magnificent and was even accompanied by a clear dragon's roar. The dragon's roar shook the heavens and the earth. The earth trembled as if there was a dragon's vein rolling. The aura was very shocking. Endless flames fell from the sky, forming a blazing sea of fire. Thick smoke billowed and the fire dragon roared. The ancient volcano had completely erupted. Let's go! Lin Shi and Jin Se glanced at each other, then instantly soared into the sky, rushing towards the mouth of the volcano. They could faintly feel that there were two vague yet familiar auras at the mouth of the volcano. They were the fluctuations of the fire seed of the dragon vein and the earth fire golden lotus. Lin Shi and Jin Se's speed was very fast, and they quickly reached the mouth of the volcano. In front of them was a sea of lava, and even though they had defensive treasures, the surrounding flames were so hot that even the void was slightly distorted, making them feel an immense pressure. A bright light flashed in Lin Shi's palm, and a bright bead appeared. It was the rare treasure, the fire-repelling bead. The magma and flames at the mouth of the volcano began to separate. A fire snake rolled up, and a faint spirit light filled the air. A large golden net appeared in Jin Se's hand. She spread it out and dropped it into the magma at the mouth of the volcano. As the dragon's roar became louder and louder, a golden light flashed in the mouth of the volcano. It looked vaguely like a dragon, exuding a dragon's aura. It was very strange. It's the fire seed of the dragon vein. Lin Shi's eyes instantly lit up. Jin Se's speed was also very fast. The moment she saw the golden light, she immediately activated the golden net to cover it. In the magma, it was as if a golden sun had jumped out of the sea of fire, and then it was directly covered by the golden net and pulled out of the mouth of the volcano. At this time, Lin Shi and Jin Se could clearly see that in the middle of the golden net, there was a fist-sized crimson stone. There seemed to be a dragon-shaped phantom flowing on top of it, and it was surrounded by blazing flames, looking mysterious and unfathomable. The fire seed of the dragon vein is in our hands. The earth fire golden lotus and the fire seed of the dragon vein were born together. It must be in the mouth of the volcano. Lin, she said excitedly. When the 8 barren fire dragon vein erupted, the fire seed of the dragon vein would drift out of the mouth of the volcano to absorb the essence of heaven and earth. This was the best time to obtain the fire seed of the dragon vein. Otherwise, the fire seed of the dragon vein would escape back into the depths of the earth. At that time, with the terrifying power of the 8 barren fire dragon vein, even a sage would find it difficult to catch it. Now, while Ling Xiao activated the array and caused the volcano to erupt, Lin Shi and Jin Se took the opportunity to catch the fire seed of the dragon vein. The earth fire golden lotus is over there. Jin Se's eyes flashed and fell on a spot in the mouth of the volcano. There were flames spewing out and magma flowing. There was actually a golden lotus floating in the air, surrounded by blazing flames. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to see it clearly. The golden lotus was extremely exquisite, like a spirit born from the flames. It was extremely dazzling. I'll catch the earth fire golden lotus. Lin Shi's body flashed as she rushed towards the mouth of the volcano. Bush, bush. But at this time, the void suddenly became distorted, and a few figures appeared from afar, exuding a powerful aura. Boom! A huge palm pierced through the void and grabbed the golden net in Jin Se's hand, aiming for the fire seed of the dragon vein. On the other side, a purple horsetail whisk fell and turned into 3,000 blazing blades, rolling towards Lin Shi and the earth fire golden lotus. Who's there? Lin Shi's face changed as her eyes turned cold. 5 figures appeared above the volcano. One was a middle-aged old woman, another was an old Taoist in a purple robe, holding a horsetail whisk, a young man in white holding a folding fan, and a young man and woman in purple robes. The one who attacked Jin Se was the middle-aged old woman. She had a head of silver hair, a face full of wrinkles, and a pair of eyes that were filled with malice and coldness. The one who attacked Lin Shi was the old Taoist in purple robes. Although he looked sage-like, his face was arrogant and his attacks were ruthless, showing no mercy. Lin Shi and Jin Se didn't expect that when they were about to get the fire seed of the dragon vein and the earth fire golden lotus, they would encounter these strange people. Hand over the fire seed of the dragon vein and the earth fire golden lotus or die. The middle-aged old woman's voice was extremely hoarse, but she didn't hesitate to grab the fire seed of the dragon vein in the golden net. Chapter 1887. The old woman wore a black robe and held a dragon-headed walking stick. The black robe was embroidered with all kinds of poisonous snakes, centipedes, spiders, and other poisonous insects with golden threads. Poisonous gas filled the air as she attacked, and the scarlet smell made people dizzy. Poison Granny? Jin Se's eyes flashed, and an ancient sword appeared in her palm. In an instant, a blazing sword light burst out, containing unparalleled saint power, and slashed at the old woman. At the same time, Jin Se suddenly grabbed the golden net and retreated quickly. The middle-aged old woman in front of him was only a rogue cultivator. However, she was the infamous poison grandmother. Her poison cultivation had reached the acme of perfection. She had already reached the realm of 9th Revolution half-saint. Her entire body was filled with poison. Even a 9th Revolution half-saint couldn't resist the poison in her body. Little girl, you're quite knowledgeable. However, with your little bit of cultivation, do you think you can escape from Granny's palm? Poison Granny's voice was hoarse and cold, giving people goosebumps. However, Jin Se was holding a flawless saint treasure, so Poison Granny did not dare to be careless. She slammed her walking stick down. Dazzling divine light blossomed as a streak of sword light that contained an unstoppable force soared out from the ancient sword. Even the Poison Granny's face could not help but change. Her withered hand, which was about to grab the golden net, suddenly retracted, and she slammed a dozen times to completely shatter the sword light. On the other side, the purple-robed old Taoist cultivation had reached the acme of perfection. The horsetail whisk in his hand was also a rare treasure. It scattered down 3,000 strands of worry, as if forming a mysterious formation, trapping Lin Shi within. White lines crisscrossed the void, as sharp as sword light, as if to cut Lin Shi into pieces. Master Ziyang, you're courting death. Lin Shi's furious voice rang out. Rays of light spread around her, and in an instant, turned into 9 runes. They looked ancient and obscure, and they intertwined to form a huge defensive armor, protecting Lin Shi inside. The horsetail whisks slashed on the armor, and sparks flew, and there was the sound of metal clashing. However, it did not break Lin Shi's defense. Lin Shi's legs glowed, and 2 golden runes bloomed on her soles. She was like an arrow released from a bow, shooting into the sky. Little girl from the Lin family, let me have the earth-fire golden lotus. Esteemed Ziyang said with a faint smile. Although he looked peaceful and had the demeanor of a transcendent being, his attacks were incomparably ruthless. Boom! The white-clothed young man with the folding fan and the purple-robed man and woman worked together to raise a suet white jade bottle. It bloomed in the void and emitted a mysterious energy fluctuation. A vast and unparalleled devouring power came from the mouth of the bottle. The endless flames at the mouth of the volcano began to boil, and like a myriad of streams flowing into the sea, they all surged towards the suet white jade bottle. The magma at the mouth of the volcano surged, and a mysterious vortex appeared. The earth-fire golden lotus was wrapped in endless flames as it floated out. The earth-fire golden lotus, shrouded in a mysterious scarlet glow, emerged from the lava. It contained an incomparably mysterious spirituality. It trembled and tried to escape, but there was no way it could escape the suction power of the white jade bottle. It slowly flew towards the bottle's mouth. Earth-fire golden lotus and dragon vein kindling. With these 2 supreme treasures, Grandma and Master Ziyang will definitely improve. The white-robed youth with a folding fan in his hand laughed excitedly. That's right. Poison young master, as long as my master and poison grandma improve and become saints, who will dare to look down on us? The purple-robed man also laughed, as if victory was in his hands. Oh no! Senior brother, look who that is. The purple-robed woman was also full of smiles. However, she suddenly saw a figure from the corner of her eyes, and her face changed. Boom! The white-robed young man and the purple-robed man turned their heads and saw a dazzling golden fist coming from the sky. It was like an immemorial divine mountain, rumbling and shaking the heaven and earth. It contained an indestructible power and directly blasted towards the suet white jade bottle. Oh no, it's Zhao Ritian. Why is this bastard here? The purple-robed man's face changed drastically, and his expression was extremely ugly. Zhao Ritian? The one who injured you and Junior's sister Z previously? The 9-star alchemy grandmaster Zhao Ritian? The white-robed young man's eyes revealed a tinge of surprise. That's right, it's him. The purple-robed woman seemed to be a little afraid, and she gritted her teeth as she spoke. Boom! Ling Zhao's speed was extremely fast. That unparalleled golden fist directly smashed into the suet white jade bottle, and an incomparably fierce power erupted. With a crisp sound, the runes on the white jade bottle exploded, and it was directly sent flying by Ling Zhao. Buzz. As for the earth-fire golden lotus, it suddenly lost the suction power of the white jade bottle. It trembled slightly and wanted to fly away, but it was caught in the palm of Ling Zhao's hand. The earth-fire golden lotus was in his hands. Ling Zhao turned around and descended from the sky. He looked at the purple-robed man and woman with a faint smile and said, "It's the 2 of you? Do you want to die?" The purple-robed man's face was extremely ugly. He stared at Ling Zhao and said, "Zhao Ritian, you're dead meat. No one can save you this time. Hand over the earth-fire golden lotus, or my master will pull out your tendons and skin you alive. You'll never be reincarnated." The purple-robed woman also screamed, "Zhao Ritian, you bastard, hand over the earth-fire golden lotus quickly." The purple-robed man and purple-robed woman hated Ling Zhao to the extreme. If looks could kill, Ling Zhao would have died countless times already. At the same time, they had some doubts in their hearts. Previously, they did not discover Ling Zhao's whereabouts at all. Only Lin Shi and Jin Se were at the mouth of the volcano collecting the Earth Fire Golden Lotus and the Earth Fire Golden Lotus. Where did Ling Xiao come from? What they did not know was that after Ling Xiao activated the large array, his entire body had almost merged with the array and the 8 Fire Dragon Vein. In addition, Ling Xiao had used the Heaven Shrouding secret skill to reduce the pressure on himself. Therefore, even Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma did not discover Ling Xiao's trace. You're Zhao Ritian? You're just a mere second revolution half-saint. Brother Z, let me help you kill him. The white-robed young man with a folding fan looked at Ling Xiao and said disdainfully. He was a 6th revolution half-saint, 1 stage higher than the purple-robed man and purple-robed woman. When he saw that Ling Xiao was only a 2nd revolution half-saint, he did not take Ling Xiao seriously at all. Poison Prince, be careful. This Zhao Ritian is very strange. His physical body is extremely strong. I'm afraid you're not his match. Chapter 1888. Your physical body is very strong? Very good. It's suitable to be refined into my poison puppet. The poison young master's eyes lit up and he immediately charged towards Ling Xiao. Boom! He opened the fan in his hand, and instantly, the mountains and rivers changed. It was as if a world of mountains and rivers had appeared. Within the mountains and rivers, there were countless poisonous snakes, centipedes, lizards, spiders, and other poisonous insects. All of them looked ferocious as they pounced towards Ling Xiao. Divine Palm of 5 Poisons. The poison young master shouted as he slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao. It was filled with 5-colored smoke and looked mysterious as if it wanted to turn all living things into dust. The way of poison? It's a pity that your cultivation is not up to par. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm as he met the poison young master's divine palm of 5 poisons with a punch. You don't know the difference between life and death. The poison young master could not help but sneer when he saw that Ling Xiao dared to meet his divine palm of 5 poisons with his bare hands. He looked at Ling Xiao as if he was looking at a dead man. His divine palm of 5 poisons was incomparably domineering. Even experts who were 1 level higher than him would not dare to touch his palm lightly. The divine palm of 5 poisons could transform a person's primordial spirit, spiritual power, and physical body. The poison young master had once used the divine palm of 5 poisons to kill a 7 revolution half-saint. Boom! The fists and palms collided and a blazing divine light exploded with a bang. The divine palm of 5 poisons contained the power of 5 poisons. It was extremely crafty and domineering as it poured into Ling Xiao's arm like 5 poisonous insects and began to burrow into Ling Xiao's body. However, before the poison young master could rejoice, he felt an unstoppable and terrifying divine power explode. His arm shook violently and then exploded with a bang. A bloody mist filled the air as if he had been crushed by a huge rock. The poison young master was sent flying. Damn it, how could he have such a powerful physical body? The poison young master's face was pale as he coughed up blood. His eyes were filled with disbelief. At that moment from before, it was as if he wasn't facing Ling Xiao but a primeval ferocious beast that possessed peerless strength. It was capable of splitting mountains and cutting off rivers, whereas the young master of poison was like a leaf in the wind, and he didn't have the slightest ability to resist at all. However, he will definitely die after being hit by my divine palm of 5 poisons. Young Master Poison said with a ferocious expression. He was very clear about the power of the 5 poison divine palm. Moreover, the power of the 5 poisons had already entered Ling Xiao's body. So, a mere second revolution half-saint couldn't resist the power of the 5 poisons. What? The Poison Prince raised his head. When he saw Ling Xiao, he was stunned. Ling Xiao was still standing in the same place. His expression was indifferent and calm. His fist emitted a golden light. The so-called divine power of 5 poisons had already disappeared without a trace. It did not have any effect on Ling Xiao at all. Ling Xiao was like a golden bolt of lightning. He instantly appeared in front of the Poison Prince and grabbed him by the throat, lifting him up. I told you. Your poison technique is still too weak. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice traveled into the ears of the Poison Prince, causing his heart to turn to ash. That's impossible, that's impossible. You are merely a second revolution half-saint. How can you resist my 5 poison divine palm? 5 poisons mountain river fan, kill. The poison young master's face was filled with a soulless expression. In the end, his gaze became incomparably venomous as he suddenly shouted. Boom! The folding fan in his hand was called the 5 poisons mountain river fan. It contained the power of 5 poisons. It was a defensive treasure given to him by the poison grandmother. Although it was only a lower-grade holy treasure, it was enough for him to kill a 7th revolution half-saint. He could even fight a 9th revolution half-saint with it. The 5 poisons mountain river fan unfolded. The mountains within it were neat and tidy, the rivers surging to the sky. Endless poisonous insects rushed out from another void, covering the sky and covering the earth, drowning Ling Xiao. Under extreme anger, the Poison Prince directly activated the strongest power of the 5 poisons mountain river fan. Ling Xiao's expression was calm. Streaks of blazing lightning suddenly erupted from his body. The lightning was like a waterfall, causing the surrounding void to tremble. The poisonous insects that rushed out from the 5 poisons mountain river fan were annihilated one after another. Facing the 5 poisons mountain river fan, Ling Xiao directly blasted out a punch. The punch was vast and unparalleled. It had the supreme power to crush the galaxies and destroy the heavens. The 5 poisons mountain river fan trembled violently and flew out in an instant. This Zhao Ritian is too terrifying. The purple-robed man and purple-robed woman trembled all over. Their eyes were filled with incomparable fear. The Poison Prince's poison technique was very powerful. It was even more powerful than the purple-robed man and purple-robed woman. However, he could only withstand a few moves from Ling Xiao. This gave them a direct understanding of Ling Xiao's strength. Let me go! The Poison Prince's throat was choked by Ling Xiao. His face was flushed red, and he felt that he could not breathe. However, Ling Xiao's hand was as hard as steel. Not only did he not loosen his grip, but he also tightened his grip. Brat, you deserve to die. At this moment, a hoarse and angry voice exploded in the void. The sound of something breaking through the air came from behind Ling Xiao. The poison grandmother, who originally wanted to capture the Jinsei, was completely enraged when she saw the Poison Prince being held in Ling Xiao's hand like a dead dog. She immediately gave up on the Jinsei. Her dragon-headed walking stick erupted with unparalleled divine power. It was like a black divine dragon that came crashing down on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had been paying attention to the poison grandmother and Master Ziyang's movements. At this moment, when he saw the poison grandmother charging over, a stream of light flashed under his feet. He used a secret teleportation technique and disappeared on the spot. Then he appeared hundreds of feet away. Clang! A blazing sword light bloomed from Ling Xiao's palm. Ling Xiao dodged the dragon-headed walking stick's sharp attack. The sword light was as fast as lightning as it slashed towards the poison grandmother's head. Boom! The dragon-headed walking stick landed in the air and smashed a small mountain into dust. Boulders flew everywhere, and the earth shook. The sword light behind her attacked. A cold light flashed in the poison grandmother's eyes as she used her dragon-headed walking stick to meet the attack. Ling Xiao held the Sky Devourer sword. Although it had not reached the level of a flawless holy artifact, it was connected to Ling Xiao's mind. It was extremely powerful. This sword seemed to have an invincible force that could split heaven and earth and destroy all things. Moreover, it was wrapped in Ling Xiao's unparalleled physical strength. The dragon-headed walking stick suddenly sank. Sparks flew in all directions as a blazing light exploded. However, at this moment, a black light shot out from the dragon-headed walking stick's head and headed straight for the space between Ling Xiao's eyebrows. It was a small black snake. It looked very strange. Its eyes were blood-red and cold. It had a triangular head and sharp fangs that seemed to be able to pierce through everything. This move was so vicious that even Ling Xiao did not expect it. The battle between Ling Xiao and the poison grandmother caused the distance between the two of them to be very close. The small black snake appeared in front of Ling Xiao almost instantly. Ling Xiao could even feel the strong fishy smell in the small black snake's mouth, causing him to feel dizzy. Chapter 1889. Bang! Ling Xiao's divine body shield burst like a bubble. The little black snake's eyes were blood red and its fangs were white. It opened its mouth and bit towards Ling Xiao's forehead. Scram! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a divine light as he suddenly roared. An ancient and vast dragon roar sounded. Ling Xiao's body exuded an incomparably majestic and mysterious dragon power. It was vast and mighty, releasing an incomparably blazing golden glow. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have transformed into the archaic dragon ancestor. It was enough to make all living beings bow down and the heavens tremble. Although the little black snake was extremely ferocious, it could not help but tremble when it felt the mysterious dragon aura on Ling Xiao's body. In addition, the sound wave formed by the true dragon's divine sound was like a transparent energy bomb that directly blasted the little black snake's body. Bang! At this critical moment, the little black snake was sent flying. Kill! The murderous intent in Ling Xiao's eyes seemed to have materialized. The strength of his physical body completely erupted. His hands formed the shape of a dragon and blazed with golden light. They were like two dragon claws that contained an incomparably sharp light that grabbed at Poison Grandma. At the same time, the sky-devouring sword appeared behind Ling Xiao and transformed into hundreds of millions of sword lights that appeared black and white. It was like a domain of life and death sword Dao that contained the power of life and death. In an instant, it shot towards Poison Grandma from all directions. Ling Xiao was completely enraged. The little black snake should be some kind of savage mutant. It was extremely terrifying and contained an extremely powerful poison. If Ling Xiao had not used the secret skill of the ancestral dragon at the critical moment and unleashed the peerless dragon power, he might have really been bitten by the little black snake. Poison Grandma's attacks were ruthless and her strength was unfathomable. Her poison skills were simply superb. If not for the fact that he did not want to expose his identity, Ling Xiao would have taken out the flipping sky seal and smashed Poison Grandma to death. Little bastard, let go of my grandson. Poison Grandma was shocked and angry. The dragon head walking stick in her hand was also blazing with light. It was like a living black dragon that came down on Ling Xiao's head. At the same time, the black poisonous gas around Poison Granny caused the surrounding void to tremble as it spread towards Ling Xiao. Poison Grandma hadn't expected that the winged serpent she had raised with her heart and soul would be dodged by Ling Xiao. The winged serpent was an ancient species. Its strength was extremely terrifying. Even a 9th Revolution half-saint had been poisoned to death by the winged serpent. However, a mere 2nd Revolution half-saint had dodged it. Grandma, save me! The poison young master shouted. His eyes were filled with terror. At this moment, his cultivation had been sealed by Ling Xiao, and he was thrown into the mouth of the volcano below. Moreover, there was a heaven-devouring fire surrounding him, as if he would be burned to ashes at any moment. It was precisely this appearance of the poison young master that caused the Poison Granny to hesitate in taking action. Rumble! The sword light that filled the sky slashed on the dragon-headed staff, and a blazing light burst out. Ling Xiao was very close to Poison Grandma, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of her. His golden dragon claws directly grabbed towards her neck. Poison Grandma's eyes turned cold. Her palm was filled with black fog, and she directly faced Ling Xiao. Her poison technique had reached perfection. Although she had seen that Ling Xiao's body was extremely strong, she was confident that Ling Xiao wouldn't be able to block her poison. Bang! Poison Grandma's palm blocked Ling Xiao's golden dragon claws, but she felt an incomparably terrifying divine power. Moreover, the dragon claws were incomparably sharp. They directly left a few long bloody marks on her arm. At the same time, the black poisonous gas surged and spread towards Ling Xiao's body. In an instant, it was about to follow his blood vessels and rush towards his heart and sea of consciousness. It was incomparably overbearing. Devour for me! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. The aura around him was incomparably violent. The heaven-devouring divine sea appeared behind him, and a vast devouring power erupted. The poisonous gas that rushed into Ling Zhao's body emitted a strange shriek and then was directly devoured by the tyrannical heaven-devouring divine sea. Bang! Ling Zhao's attack was as fast as lightning. The two golden dragon claws were incomparably sharp. In an instant, dozens of them blasted out. Although Poison Grandma tried her best to block, the terrifying divine power that came from Ling Zhao's arms made it difficult for her to block. She kept retreating, and countless bloody scars appeared on her arms. Although Poison Grandma was a 9th Revolution half-saint, the most terrifying thing about her was her poison technique. Her physical body wasn't very strong. Although Ling Zhao was only a 2nd Revolution half-saint, his physical body was extremely strong due to the combination of the ancestral dragon secret technique and the 10,000 Tribulations indestructible saint technique. Therefore, Poison Grandma was no match for him. Boom! Ling Zhao's entire body was like a golden torrent, and he blasted an unparalleled fist print towards Poison Grandma. The fist print was blazing, and it traversed the void in all directions. 3,000 worlds filled the void behind Ling Zhao, and the invincible fist intent bloomed. Poison Grandma's expression changed greatly. Damn it! How can you resist my 1,000 poison saint power? Poison Grandma screamed. She staggered back, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. Her poison technique had no effect on Ling Zhao. Her poison was devoured by Ling Zhao's sky-devouring secret technique, and her body wasn't as strong as Ling Zhao's. At this moment, facing Ling Zhao's domineering fist made her tremble with fear. Ling Zhao's eyes were incomparably cold. This fist came from the Fist Emperor, one of the 9 Emperor's phantoms. As he continued to comprehend it, the power of this fist became more and more terrifying. It was almost invincible. Poison Grandma couldn't help but feel her scalp tingle in the face of this unparalleled fist. She let out a long whistle and 5-colored divine light filled the air around her. It converged into a huge 5-colored light ball, and it flew towards Ling Zhao. Rumble! A terrifying sound rang out, and the surrounding space trembled. The huge 5-colored ball of light suddenly exploded, and Poison Grandma was directly smashed down by Ling Zhao's fist. The crater below trembled violently, and then it suddenly exploded. Endless magma spewed out, and flames burned. An incomparably huge fist print appeared at the crater. What? Whether it was Master Ziyang, who was fighting with Lin Shi, Poison Prince, or the purple-robed man and woman, they were all stunned. The scene in front of them was simply beyond their expectations. Ling Zhao, who was merely a 2nd Revolution half-saint, had actually defeated Poison Grandma. Especially that peerless fist, which seemed to be able to cover 3,000 worlds. Its power was unparalleled, and it was extremely domineering. The purple-robed man and woman's eyes were filled with fear, and Master Ziyang's eyes also revealed a trace of retreating. Chapter 1890. Cough, cough, cough. Poison Grandma rushed out of the volcano, coughing up blood. Her eyes were filled with resentment. If you want the Dragon Vein Fire Seed and the Earth Fire Golden Lotus, then use your life to exchange for it. Ling Zhao's gaze was incomparably cold, and his killing intent seemed to have materialized. Lin Shi and Jin Se soared into the sky at the same time, standing beside Ling Zhao. Their eyes were cold, and their battle intent soared. Luckily Ling Zhao was here. Otherwise, the Dragon Vein Fire Seed and the Earth Fire Golden Lotus might really fall into the hands of Poison Grandma and esteemed Ziyang. Their hearts were also filled with rage. Little bastard, I want to see what ability you have to dare to speak such arrogant words. Esteemed Ziyang, let's kill him together. Poison Grandma glared at Ling Zhao with resentment. Poison Grandma, this Zhao Ritian is not an ordinary person. There's no need for us to fight with him here. A day's time is almost up, and we haven't collected all the treasures on the list. Let's go and collect the treasures first. We'll teach this brat a good lesson in the 3rd stage. Esteemed Ziyang's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to Poison Grandma. Poison Grandma was a little hesitant, but the pill talisman ceremony was indeed more important in her heart. She couldn't help but glare at Ling Zhao hatefully and nod. Alright, then I'll listen to esteemed Ziyang and spare this brat's life. Boom. A steamed Xiang struck out with his palm, and a blazing light bloomed from his palm. It circled around the Poison Prince, wanting to extinguish the heaven-devouring fire and save the Poison Prince. Explode! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he coldly spat out a word. Boom! The heaven-devouring fire outside the poisonous young master's body suddenly bloomed. Scorching flames soared, causing the void to distort. In an instant, it enveloped the poisonous young master and began to burn fiercely. But, Grandma, save me! Grandma, save me! The Poison Prince let out an incomparably pitiful cry as he struggled in the sea of fire, looking extremely sinister and terrifying. The heaven-devouring fire was incomparably terrifying. In an instant, the Poison Prince was burned into ashes, and his soul completely scattered. He was imprisoned by Ling Xiao, and he didn't even have the chance to crush the command talisman and teleport out of the minor pill talisman realm. The violet-robed man and violet-robed woman could not help but shiver when they saw the miserable state the Poison Prince was in. Their eyes were filled with extreme fear as they hid behind Guru Ziyang, afraid that Ling Xiao would do the same to them. Master Ziyang's eyes could not help but turn cold. His face became extremely ugly. He had never thought that the heaven-devouring flames would be so domineering. Even he was helpless against it. All he could do was watch as the Poison Prince turned into ashes. Zhao Ritian, you deserve to die. The Poison Grandma was so angry that her eyes were spitting fire. Her gaze was incomparably venomous. The Poison Prince was her grandson, and now that he had died in Ling Zhao's hands, she was so angry that she was about to go crazy. Poison Granny, this Zhao Ritian really deserves to die. However, this matter is more important. He is deliberately provoking you. Guru Ziyang hurriedly pulled the Poison Granny back and whispered to her. The Poison Granny's body stiffened. Only then did she glare at Ling Xiao hatefully and say, "Little bastard, there will be a day when Granny will skin you alive and pull out your tendons. I will suppress your soul in the 9 underworlds forever and you will never be reincarnated. You don't know what's good for you. If it wasn't for the grand pill talisman ceremony, I would slaughter all of you like dogs." Ling Xiao sneered. He did not take the Poison Granny's threat to heart at all. "Let's go." The Poison Granny and Guru Ziyang were incomparably aggrieved. They glared at Ling Xiao with incomparable anger before turning to leave. She looked at the backs of the Poison Granny and Guru Ziyang as they left. She glanced at Ling Xiao and said, "Zhao Ritian, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Even the Poison Granny is not your match. However, the Poison Granny and the Poison Granny are both vicious and merciless people. It's probably not a good thing to be hated by them. It's just a pity that we can't make them stay. It's fine. They are just 2 clowns." Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. His gaze was incomparably deep. After the grand pill talisman ceremony, Ling Xiao would obtain the pill formula of the eternal creation pill. If the Poison Granny and Guru Ziyang still did not know what was good for them, Ling Xiao would not mind giving them a sky-flipping seal. She nodded and smiled slightly. "This time, it's all thanks to you that we were able to obtain the Dragon Vein Fire Seed and the Earth Fire Golden Lotus. I will be magnanimous and not pursue the matter of you tricking me previously. Don't flatter yourself. I was helping Jin Sei, not you." Ling Xiao glanced sideways at Lin Shi. This woman was really vengeful. Lin Shi was a little annoyed. She secretly gritted her teeth and suddenly moved closer to Ling Xiao. There was a trace of slyness in her eyes as she whispered, "Don't think that I don't know your true identity. Long Outian, Temple Master Long. As far as I know, the only person who is so familiar with Jin Sei and is willing to treat her so well is the Temple Master of War God Temple, Long Outian." Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked indifferently at Lin Shi. "I don't know what you're talking about." Ling Xiao secretly felt that he was a little careless. He had forgotten that Lin Shi and Jin Sei were very familiar with each other. That was why she found out about his relationship with Jin Sei. It seemed like he had to pay attention to this point in the future. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone your secret. No wonder you look down on the Poison Granny and Guru Ziyang. That's right, if Temple Master Long uses the sky-flipping seal, These 2 pieces of trash will die without a doubt. Lin, she said with a smile, like a sly little fox. Don't let your imagination run wild. 1 day's time is almost up. You should think about how to participate in the 3rd round of the assessment. Ling Xiao glanced sideways at Lin Shi and instantly turned into a golden stream of light, flying towards the bottom of the volcano. Lin Shi and Jin Se looked at each other and also chased after Ling Xiao. In the realm of small elixir talisman, as time was running out, the competition between the people became more and more intense. There were fierce battles everywhere, and many people crushed their tokens and were eliminated. However, Ling Xiao, Lin Shi, and Jin Se had already collected all the treasures on the list, so there was no need for them to participate in the competition. In addition, with Lin Shi's identity, no one would be blind enough to target them. When 1 day's time was up, the tokens in everyone's hands bloomed with incomparably bright light, enveloping them and sending them directly out of the realm of small elixir talisman. The 2nd round of the assessment was also officially over. Back in the central square of the city lord's residence of Taishan City, Ling Xiao looked around and saw that there were only more than 2,000 people left in the square. The others had all been eliminated in the 1st and 2nd rounds of the assessment. The 3rd round was the real assessment of alchemy and talisman Taoism, and it was also the part that everyone looked forward to the most. Chapter 1891. Light flashed around Lu Wenlong and Lu Qingwan as they came out of the small pill talisman realm. When they saw Ling Xiao, their eyes lit up and they were pleasantly surprised. Brother Zhao, I knew you would be able to pass the first 2 rounds safely. There are treasures everywhere in the small pill talisman realm. Brother Zhao must have gained a lot, right? Lu Wenlong said with a smile. The minor pill talisman realm was a secret realm managed by the Pill Talisman Mountain. There were countless heavenly treasures hidden within. For the Pill Talisman ceremony this time around, as long as one could collect all the heavenly treasures listed on the list, they could also search for other treasures. The Pill Talisman Mountain wouldn't interfere in this matter. Even Ling Xiao had to praise Pill Talisman Mountain's generosity. After all, even in the 12 immortal holy lands, not everyone had the opportunity to enter a secret realm like the minor Pill Talisman realm. However, the Pill Talisman Mountain had generously offered it up. This kind of magnanimity was truly admirable. I gained a little, but that's not important. The most important thing is the competition between Pill Talisman Dao and Pill Talisman Dao. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at the spacious square in the distance. That's right. There are many experts in this Pill Talisman ceremony. Of course, I feel that Brother Zhao's biggest opponent should still be Zhuo Bufan. Lu Wenlong said slowly as he looked into the distance. Zhuo Bufan was among the many geniuses and experts. He looked like a moon surrounded by stars and had an extraordinary bearing. Moreover, he was dressed in a snow-white robe and his skin was glowing. He was handsome and looked like a divine jade. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth, which made it easy for people to have a good impression of him. No matter from which angle one looked at Zhuo Bufan, he was a genius. One had to admit that even Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui and the others were inferior to Zhuo Bufan in terms of temperament. Is that so? I'm also curious about how strong the mystical heaven origin fire is. What are the rules of this grand alchemy competition? Ling Xiao said with a smile. It should be the quality of the pills. Lu Wenlong said slowly. Rumble. At this moment, Master Jiao, Tai Yunzi, and Xiao Hong, the 3 saints of Mount Pill Talisman, appeared in the sky. Their vast saints' might permeated the air, and the noise and discussion in the square immediately vanished. Everyone became extremely quiet. Everyone, please submit the heavenly materials and earthly treasures you've collected on the list. Tai Yunzi smiled at the crowd. He looked like an immortal, benevolent, and amiable. His voice sounded like a spring breeze. The light in his palm shone brightly. With a swipe of his hand, an ancient stone pool appeared in the void, flowing with mysterious light. Everyone took out the heavenly treasures they had collected according to the list. Dazzling lights of various colors filled the void, and various fragrances assailed the nostrils. Finally, All of them converged into a torrent and entered the ancient stone pool. Everyone, the third test will begin next, and it's also the ultimate competition between the Tao of Pills and the Tao of Talismans. The rules of this test are very simple. Just now, each of you collected a lot of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. In addition to the various secret treasures of Mount Pill Talisman, each of you can choose one origin source saint item, 9 half-saint items, and 90 divine items. In the end, these 100 treasures will be freely combined to refine pills and talismans. In the end, the person with the best quality will be the champion of the Tao of Pills and the Tao of Talismans. Of course, as long as you can enter the top 10 in the Tao of Pills and the Tao of Talismans, there will be various precious rewards. Master Jiao explained the rules of the third test slowly. In fact, everyone understood that this test was the true competition between the Tao of Pills and the Tao of Talismans. The rules were also extremely simple and crude. Whoever was stronger and had a higher cultivation level would be the winner. Everyone nodded secretly, and their eyes were filled with anticipation. Speaking of which, the first test, the illusory heart formation, and the second test, the minor pill talisman dimension, were only tests to eliminate the weak and those who were not qualified to participate in the grand alchemy talisman ceremony. Only the elites were left. Among the over 2,000 people, a small half of them were talisman masters, while the majority were alchemy masters. These people were the real geniuses. Ling Xiao could see that among the over 1,000 alchemy masters, most of them were 8-star alchemy masters and 9-star alchemy masters. There were very few 7-star alchemy masters, and most of them had been eliminated. This showed how intense the competition was. However, for the regeneration elixir and the origin saint flame that the champion of the Tao of Pills could obtain, Ling Xiao was determined to be the champion of the Tao of Pills. Although Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui, and Huang Xuanzong's Tao of Pills are not bad, they are no match for me. The only ones who can pose a threat to me are probably Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he glanced at Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. Previously, his Tao of Pills was only on par with Lu Wenlong. After all, he had used a trick to become a 9-star alchemy master. However, in the Void Saint world, after Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the Hunyuan Alchemy Saint and the Sun Moon Alchemy Sect, it could be said that Ling Xiao's Tao of Pills was on par with an alchemy saint. Naturally, he was better than Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui, and the rest. However, Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan were not ordinary geniuses. Zhao Ritian had the Extreme Emperor weapon, the Flame Emperor Cauldron, while Zhuo Bufan had the Celestial Origin Fire. These two heaven-defying treasures had a great impact on one's face. Therefore, Ling Xiao was not sure if he could win against them. "Why are you looking at me? I won't give in to you even if you look at me. Ling Xiao, you're going to lose this time." Zhao Ritian sensed Ling Xiao's gaze and laughed arrogantly as he transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. "That might not be the case. Zhao Ritian, why don't we make a bet?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he smiled. "Bet? What are you up to this time?" Zhao Ritian suddenly became alert and his eyes were filled with suspicion. Whenever a bet was mentioned, he would be traumatized. In the past, when he was in the Divine War world, he was tricked by Ling Xiao and it was a huge blow to him. It's simple. The Extreme Emperor weapon that you have should be an elixir cauldron, right? If I win, you'll use that Extreme Emperor weapon to help me refine an elixir. What do you think? Ling Xiao said with a smile, revealing a mouthful of white and beautiful teeth. Refine an elixir? That's not too much of a request. However, you won't be able to win against me. What if you lose? Zhao Ritian thought for a while and did not find anything wrong with it as he said to Ling Xiao. "If you win, I'll tell you the elixir formula of the Hunyuan Golden Pill. What do you think?" Ling Xiao said without hesitation. "Hunyuan Golden Pill? Are you talking about the Hunyuan Golden Pill that was created by the Hunyuan Pill Saint?" Zhao Ritian's body trembled and his eyes were filled with joy. Previously, he did not plan to agree to Ling Xiao's request. However, when he heard about the elixir formula of the Hunyuan Golden Pill, he became excited and made up his mind to obtain the elixir formula of the Hunyuan Golden Pill no matter what. Chapter 1892. The Hunyuan Golden Pill created by the Hunyuan Elixir Saint was an incomparably precious sacred elixir. Legend had it that it could revive the dead and grow flesh and bones. Moreover, it could strengthen one's physical strength and allow one to be reborn. It was extremely miraculous. However, the most important use of the Hunyuan Golden Pill was to help one become a sage. In ancient times, there was a rumor that when a golden pill was swallowed into one's stomach, one would be in control of one's own life. This was referring to the Hunyuan Golden Pill. After consuming the Hunyuan Golden Pill and becoming a sage, one would be able to control one's own fate to a certain extent. Zhao Ritian had not expected Ling Xiao to take out the Hunyuan Golden Pill formula. Instantly, he could not remain calm. "That's right. Do you want to bet?" Ling Xiao asked with a smile. "Of course. Whoever doesn't bet is a coward. Anyway, you're going to lose. Since you want to give me the Hunyuan Golden Pill formula, I'll accept it," Zhao Ritian said without hesitation. His eyes were burning with passion. "Very well. Don't go back on your words. Whether you can defeat me or not depends on whether you can refine a sage elixir and what kind of sage elixir you can refine," Ling Xiao said with a smile. The reason why he suddenly wanted to bet with Zhao Ritian was to see what kind of treasure the extreme Dao Emperor weapon that Zhao Ritian had obtained. Moreover, the refining of the Eternal Creation Pill was extremely difficult. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation was not high enough. Although he had obtained the inheritance of the Hunyuan Elixir Saint and the Sun Moon Elixir sect, he might not be able to refine the Eternal Creation Pill. However, Zhao Ritian's Flame Emperor Cauldron was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. If Zhao Ritian was willing to help, Ling Xiao would definitely be able to refine the Eternal Creation Pill. Go back on my words? How can I, Zhao Ritian, go back on my words? Just you wait, Zhao Ritian said with a smile. Rumble. Just as Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were conversing through telepathy, the void rumbled with dazzling light. More than 1,000 ancient stone platforms appeared. On each stone platform, there was a crimson alchemy cauldron. They looked ancient and exuded a faint saintly aura. They were extraordinary. First, the Grand Alchemy Competition. Everyone, please follow the order of exiting the illusionary heart array in the first round to collect the 100 spiritual herbs that you need from Master Jiao. Tai Yunzi's voice resounded in the void. A glint flashed across the eyes of many alchemists. They could not help but take a deep breath and reveal an extremely excited expression. The alchemy competition finally began. Zhao Ritian took first place in the first stage of the Great Illusory Heart Array. Everyone's eyes fell on Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian immediately smiled proudly. Then he leaped up and stood in front of Master Wine. "You must be Ling Xiao?" The Illusionary Heart Great Array's performance was very good. With your strength, it shouldn't be a problem for you to enter the top 10. Master Jiao looked at Zhao Ritian curiously. Zhao Ritian's expression froze. He felt a little depressed. Back then, he had impersonated Ling Xiao's name out of mischief. Now, he finally felt awkward. However, he still smiled proudly and said, "Greetings, Master Wine. I will definitely be the alchemy champion this time." Seeing how confident Zhao Ritian was, Master Jiao shook his head and smiled. "That's right. It's good to be confident. What kind of spirit herbs do you need?" "I need..." Zhao Ritian immediately said the names of the 100 spirit herbs he needed. However, his voice was very weak. No one could hear him. No one knew what spirit herbs Zhao Ritian had chosen. When Master Jiao heard Zhao Ritian's request, he quickly knew what kind of elixir Zhao Ritian was going to concoct. He couldn't help but be slightly surprised. "You want to concoct that kind of elixir? Are you sure you don't want to reconsider?" "There's no need to reconsider. I want these spirit herbs," Zhao Ritian said stubbornly. "Alright, here are the spirit herbs you need. Keep them well. If you fail, you won't have a second chance." Master Jiao did not try to persuade Zhao Ritian anymore. He passed the spirit herbs Zhao Ritian needed to refine. Zhao Ritian's body suddenly flashed. He chose a stone platform in the void and sat down with his legs crossed. The second person was Zhuo Bufan. Zhuo Bufan's eyes shone brightly as he looked at Zhao Ritian. Obviously, He had already regarded Zhao Ritian as his opponent. However, his expression was calm. After bowing respectfully to Master Jiao, he also sat down on the stone platform after receiving his spirit herbs. Following them were Lu Wenlong, Xiao Ri, Huang Xuanzong, and the others. Ling Xiao was ranked 10th. After all, he was delayed in the illusory heart great array, so his ranking was not near the front. Naturally, he was not as dazzling as Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. Everyone's eyes fell on the top 10 people. Their eyes were filled with curiosity. It was as if they were thinking about who would be the champion of the alchemy competition this time. After all, these 10 people were very likely to be the top 10 of the grand alchemy competition. Therefore, the champion of the alchemy competition could very well be one of these 10 people. I think the champion of the alchemy competition this time will definitely be Zhuo Bufan. He is the personal disciple of the mountain master of Pill Talisman. It is said that although his cultivation has yet to become a sage, in terms of alchemy, he can already refine the supreme divine pill. That's right. I also feel that Zhuo Bufan is the most likely winner. That Ling Xiao's talent is also very good. It is said that he refined the 5 elements divine pill and was certified as a 9-star alchemy grandmaster. Moreover, he walked out of the illusory heart formation before Zhuo Bufan. That's right. This Ling Xiao's talent is even more dazzling than Zhao Ritian's. If nothing unexpected happens, I'm afraid the champion of the alchemy competition will be between Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao. Unfortunately, Lu Wenlong, Xiao Ri, and Huang Xuanzong's talent is also very good. Their strength in alchemy is extremely strong. However, they are still weaker than Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao. That's right. Lin Shi's talent in alchemy is also extremely strong. However, she is participating in the talisman competition this time. Otherwise, she might be able to compete with Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao for the championship. Everyone stared at the 1,000-over figures in the void and discussed animatedly. However, most of their gazes fell on Zhuo Bufan and Zhao Ritian. After all, not only were Zhuo Bufan and Zhao Ritian's strength extraordinary, their appearances and bearing were also extraordinary. The two of them sat there as if they were the center of heaven and earth, attracting more than half of everyone's attention. The champion of the alchemy competition this time will definitely be Big Brother Zhao Ritian. A crisp voice was heard, appearing extremely abrupt. Everyone could not help but look over curiously. They realized that it was a little monk carved out of jade. His hands were clasped together as he stood between Lin Shi and Jin Sei with his head lowered. He looked extremely cute. Little monk, a monk doesn't lie. Are you so sure that Zhao Ritian will win? Not to mention Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao, even Lu Wenlong and Xiao Ri are extremely strong. Lin Shi looked at the little monk in surprise. The champion of the alchemy competition will definitely be Big Brother Zhao Ritian. Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao can't do it. They will lose. Chapter 1893. Everyone was speechless. Where did this little monk come from? Why was he so confident in Zhao Ritian? If it weren't for Lin Shi and Jin Sei, everyone would have started mocking Ling Yun. I also believe that he'll win. What Lin Shi didn't expect was that Jin Sei also raised her head and said calmly, "The two of you, even if you're related to Zhao Ritian, you can't believe him without any reason, right? You don't know how powerful Zhuo Bufan is, and you don't know how powerful the mystical heaven origin fire is." Lin Shi smiled bitterly. He had already guessed Ling Xiao's identity. He knew that Ling Xiao was the battle hall master of the war god temple, not a descendant of some hidden ancient clan. Although Ling Xiao's attainments in alchemy were good, Lin Shi felt that he had used a trick to reach the level of a 9-star alchemist grandmaster. Although he had a good impression of Ling Xiao, his rationality told him that Ling Xiao's chances of becoming the alchemy champion were slim. Rumble. Just as everyone was discussing, wind and thunder rumbled in the void. Flames burned fiercely. The flames on the high platforms began to burn. The alchemy cauldrons shone brightly as more than 1,000 alchemists began to refine pills. Everyone's attention was immediately attracted. The alchemy cauldrons on the high platforms were all top-notch sage-level treasures. They were all of the same quality. For the sake of fairness, they used the same alchemy cauldrons. However, there was no such thing as absolute fairness. Although the alchemy cauldrons were the same, the quality of the pills refined would naturally be different if one had a powerful divine flame, saint flame, or even origin fire. In the void, the alchemy cauldrons began to glow. Flames surrounded them. Although most of them were divine flames, there were still more than a dozen saint flames. They were filled with powerful saint aura and looked extremely extraordinary. Ling Xiao chose a stone platform at the edge. He didn't stand out like Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. He directly chose the two stone platforms in the center. The alchemy cauldrons on the stone platforms were crimson red. There were strange runes on them. With a flick of his finger, an incomparably crisp and mysterious sound was heard. It seemed ethereal and clear. Ling Xiao directly sat down in front of the alchemy cauldrons and prepared to refine pills. This time, he wanted to refine the Saint Spirit pill, and the main ingredient he needed was the origin saint herb he'd gathered in the minor pill talisman realm, the stalagmite Saint Spirit flower. There were 9 grades of sacred elixirs. The Saint Spirit elixir could be considered a second-grade sacred elixir. If one's alchemy skills were strong enough, it was not impossible to refine a third-grade sacred elixir. Ling Xiao knew that in order to win the grand alchemy competition, one had to have at least a saint pill. If it was a half-saint pill, one wouldn't even be able to enter the top 10, let alone win the championship. The Saint Spirit pill was an ancient pill that contained the mysterious power of the Saint Spirit. Not only could it increase the power of the soul, but it could also increase the chances of becoming a saint. Ling Xiao could feel that although Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui, Huang Xuanzong, and the others were only 9-star alchemy grandmasters, they probably had the hope of refining a first-grade saint pill. If Ling Xiao wanted to win the championship, he had to at least refine a second-grade or even third-grade sacred elixir. Many alchemists in the surroundings had already started refining pills. In this void, many alchemists had been holding their breaths for a long time. At this moment, it could be said that each of them displayed their magical powers and displayed their trump cards. All kinds of alchemy techniques were dazzling. It's him. Ling Xiao was not in a hurry to refine pills. Instead, he closed his eyes slightly to rest. However, he felt 2 hostile eyes looking at him, and he couldn't help but be moved. Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma. The 2 of them actually chose to sit on the left and right of Ling Xiao. Their eyes were full of coldness. Although they only glanced at Ling Xiao indifferently, Ling Xiao still noticed the trace of killing intent in their eyes. You're courting death. If you really want to die, then I'll fulfill your wish. Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. He could feel that Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma were not here with good intentions. They probably wanted to do something secretly. However, Master Jiao, Tai Yunzi, and Xiao Hong were all sitting cross-legged in the void. Vast holy path aura spread out like 3 brilliant suns, mysterious and unfathomable. With the 3 of them around, Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma naturally did not dare to act wildly. If they made the slightest move, they would be turned into dust. Poison Grandma looked at Ling Xiao with hatred and snorted coldly. Then she turned around and began refining pills. Boom! Poison Grandma's palms slammed on the pill cauldron in front of her. Immediately, the pill cauldron spun and let out a clear cry. Then, black flames rose from her palms and enveloped the pill cauldron in an instant. A purple flame spread out from Master Ziyang's palms and also enveloped the pill cauldron in front of him. The runes on the pill cauldron were dazzling. As the pill cauldron's temperature rose, Master Ziyang also began to throw pills into the pill cauldron and began refining pills. Is that Poison Grandma's 5 poison sacred fire and Master Ziyang's purple sun sacred fire? The 2 of them are here as well? Someone cried out in surprise. Their gaze fell on Poison Grandma and Master Ziyang. Poison Grandma and Ziyang Venerable Master were both 9-star alchemy grandmasters. Moreover, they were extremely powerful. Moreover, they possessed a supreme saint flame. After all, among more than 1,000 alchemy grandmasters, there were only a few dozen people who possessed a saint flame. Therefore, when the 2 of them began to refine pills, some people immediately noticed them. Divine fire was the burning divine force of a godhood expert. It was formed by fusing with the laws of the Great Path. It contained a sliver of the power of the laws, so it was not particularly precious. However, sacred fire was extremely precious. It was formed by a true saint who had comprehended the origin of fire and condensed a Tao fruit of fire. Ordinary people would not be able to obtain such a Tao fruit of fire. Naturally, they would not be able to obtain a sacred fire. As for the origin flame, it was born from heaven and earth. It was naturally even more difficult to obtain. Poison Grandma and Master Ziyang definitely possessed sacred fire because they had obtained the 5 poison sacred fire and purple sun sacred fire Tao fruits. Only after refining them could they possess sacred fire. Both the 5 poison sacred fire and purple sun sacred fire are extremely powerful. I wonder what kind of pills these two are refining? Someone's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation. Is there even a need to ask? Poison Grandma has summoned the 5 poison sacred fire. She must be refining the 5 poison sacred pill. As for Master Ziyang, it's hard to say. Someone said without hesitation. The 5 poison sacred pill was refined using 5 types of poisonous insects and various heaven and earth spiritual herbs. It was said that anyone below the saint level who consumed the 5 poison sacred pill would die without a doubt. Even a saint would be severely injured. It was truly a poisonous sacred pill. Chapter 1894. A stream of light flashed in Grandma Poison's palm. Instantly, a few streams of light flew into the cauldron. Ling Xiao could see that they were 5 poisonous insects. They were a black scorpion, a silver ring snake, a 5-colored spider, a giant toad, and a 9-segment centipede. These 5 poisonous insects had strong auras. They were comparable to sage-level poisonous insects. At this moment, they were being used by Grandma Poison to refine the 5 poison saint pill. A strong fishy smell filled the air. Some of the alchemists around Grandma Poison could not help but frown. Their expressions turned ugly. Grandma Poison had offended several alchemists by doing this. However, although they were angry, they could not vent their anger. Ling Zhao's expression was extremely calm. It was as if he was not disturbed. He did not refine the pill directly. Instead, he closed his eyes and his heart became calm. All his attention was on the cauldron in front of him. Boom! After a moment, Ling Xiao suddenly opened his eyes. 2 rays of golden light shot out. He patted the cauldron in front of him. Suddenly, a vast sky-devouring fire exploded. The golden flame looked dazzling. In an instant, it enveloped the entire cauldron. The cauldron shone brilliantly. The runes on the cauldron seemed to come alive. The cauldron emitted a strange sound, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. Ling Xiao directly opened the lid of the alchemy cauldron, and then a bright light flashed. He directly threw over 100 kinds of elixirs into the alchemy cauldron, and then closed the lid in an instant. No one saw what kind of elixirs he took out. What kind of flame is that? It doesn't look like a divine flame or a sacred flame. Someone stared at the sky-devouring fire that Ling Xiao had taken out and said doubtfully. The sky-devouring fire looked very mysterious. No one felt the aura of the divine power law or the fluctuation of the sacred might. Therefore, they could not see the origin of the flame that Ling Xiao had used. Hey, it is indeed a very mysterious flame. I can't see it either. Senior Brother Jiao, do you know it? Above the void, Tai Yunzi saw the sky-devouring fire that Ling Xiao had taken out. His eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Tai Yunzi was the alchemy saint of Pill Talisman Mountain. His strength was unfathomable. His attainments in alchemy were extremely high. He knew a lot about the divine flames, sacred flames, and even the origin flames. However, he could not see the origin of the sky-devouring fire. I don't recognize it either. Perhaps this brat is hiding the origin of the flame. Unless he can bring out a wisp of flame, I won't be able to tell. But this boy's alchemy talent is extraordinary. I really have some expectations for him. A glint flashed across Master Jiao's eyes as he smiled faintly. Senior brothers, I don't know what kind of flame that is, but I do know that this kid is really daring. He actually put so many spiritual herbs into the cauldron at the same time. Isn't he afraid of the cauldron exploding? Xiao Hong said coldly as he looked at Tai Yunzi and Master Jiao. To refine so many spirit herbs at the same time, and there's even an origin sacred herb among them, this kid is either a madman, or he really is confident. I really want to see what tricks he has up his sleeves, Master Wine said with a faint smile. Rumble. However, what disappointed the three of them was that after Ling Xiao took out the sky-devouring fire and threw all the spirit herbs into the cauldron, he sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes to rest. His hands unconsciously activated the sky-devouring fire, and he began to refine the spirit herbs in the cauldron. However, what they did not know was that Ling Xiao's incomparably majestic primordial spirit power had already poured into the cauldron. He was monitoring every inch of the cauldron. The mysterious power of the sky-devouring fire had also entered the cauldron, separating the hundreds of spirit herbs and beginning to refine the essence of the spirit herbs. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao for a while, but they did not find anything special. They all looked away in disappointment. At this moment, Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rei, and Huang Xuanzong all took out powerful sacred flames. They were all alchemy geniuses, and their status was incomparably prominent. It was naturally not difficult for them to obtain some flame Dao fruit, so each of them had a powerful sacred flame. They all used various alchemy techniques, and the cauldron in front of them bloomed with resplendent light, as dazzling as the sun. Moreover, their speed was extremely fast, so no one could see what spirit herbs they took out, let alone guess what kind of pills they were going to refine. Boom! A resplendent flame bloomed, as if it was going to split the heavens and earth. It contained a trace of chaotic light, and it directly shot into the sky, forming an incomparably mysterious light pillar. It instantly attracted everyone's attention. On the centermost stone platform, Zhuo Bufan's white robe fluttered, and his temperament was extraordinary. The corner of his mouth held a faint smile. At this moment, his hands were forming a seal, and a chaotic flame spurted out from his chest, pouring into the cauldron in front of him along with his hands. The cauldron trembled violently, like a small boat bobbing in the sea, containing an incomparably mysterious aura. The runes on the cauldron lit up one by one, and it looked even more mysterious and vast. That flame not only alarmed all the alchemists, but even the three saints above the void were alarmed. That's the origin flame, someone exclaimed, his voice full of excitement. That's right. It's Zhuo Bufan's Xiantian origin flame. He even took out the Xiantian origin flame. It seems that he has already locked in the champion position. An old man with white hair and a beard said with some emotion. This was a highly respected old man, known as the Heavenly Talisman Lord. He was a 9-star talisman grandmaster, and as soon as he spoke, everyone was immediately shocked. Previously, it was said that Zhuo Bufan had an origin flame, but most people did not believe it. Now that they saw Zhuo Bufan really take out the Xiantian origin flame, they were naturally incomparably shocked. The Xiantian origin flame ranked 301st on the origin list. Perhaps most people did not know the specific effects of the Xiantian origin flame, but they only knew that the Xiantian origin flame was a great help to alchemy. Perhaps Zhuo Bufan could originally refine a first-grade divine pill, but with the help of the Xiantian origin flame, he could refine a second-grade divine pill. Everyone's eyes were attracted by Zhuo Bufan, and their eyes were filled with incomparable amazement and envy as they looked at the Xiantian origin flame. Even the surrounding alchemists couldn't help but feel a little affected in their state of mind. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 1895. Although the few alchemists only suffered some minor injuries, they were disqualified from the grand competition and were immediately eliminated. They then left the stone platform in the void with their faces covered in dirt. The limelight has been stolen by this guy. Fine, I'll show you what Zhao Ritian can do. Zhao Ritian, who was beside Zhuo Bufan, was a little unhappy. He did not have the chance to show off, but Zhuo Bufan had stolen all the limelight. Boom! A sharp glint flashed in Zhao Ritian's eyes as he clapped his palms together. Instantly, a blazing flame gushed out from his palms. It was like the rising sun, illuminating the mountains and rivers. It contained an incomparably terrifying power. Behind Zhao Ritian, a bright sun appeared and shrouded his entire body. The mysterious and vast flame surged into the pill cauldron, causing the pill cauldron in front of Zhao Ritian to boil. An aura that was not inferior to Zhuobufan's erupted from Zhao Ritian's body. That's Master Ling Xiao? What kind of flame did he summon? How can it compete with the mystical heaven origin fire? Someone trembled as he looked at Zhao Ritian in disbelief. The flame that Zhao Ritian summoned contained an ancient, vast, and mysterious aura. It was not inferior to the mystical heaven origin fire at all. It was competing with the mystical heaven origin fire in the void, illuminating the entire void. However, what shocked everyone was that they could not recognize the flame at all. It's not the origin fire. The origin fire contains the complete origin energy. When it's born, it will cause the heaven and earth to resonate. Although this flame is very strong, it did not cause the heaven and earth to resonate. The heavenly talisman lord's eyes were sharp. He immediately saw the crux of the matter. It's not the origin fire? What kind of flame is that? The sacred flame can't be this strong, right? Everyone was stunned. The sacred sun flame? The sacred sun flame can't be this strong. Where did this Ling Xiao come from? Above the void, Sage Tai Yunzi frowned slightly. Another flame that he did not recognize had appeared. He didn't recognize the heaven-devouring fire that Ling Xiao had summoned earlier, but it didn't seem too powerful. Tai Yunzi assumed it was some sort of divine fire or demonic fire. He was just curious, but he didn't care. However, the flame that Zhao Ritian summoned was not any weaker than the celestial origin fire. Even so, he still could not identify its origin. If it's not the sacred sun flame, could it be the legendary extreme? No, it can't be that kind of flame. Master Jiao was also surprised, which was a rare sight. A trace of doubt appeared in his eyes. Rumble. Originally, it could be said that there were hundreds of flowers competing in the void. Everyone displayed thousands of divine abilities and techniques. Flames rose and bloomed with endless brilliance. It could be said that it was a dazzling scene. But now, everyone's attention was on Zhao Ritian and Zhuobufan. Regardless of whether it was Zhao Ritian's unknown flame or the mystical heaven origin fire, their pill refinement had become the center of attention. Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation. How far could Zhao Ritian and Zhuobufan, these two heaven's chosen ones, go? Ritian, you're really a prodigal son. This is the extreme emperor fire left behind by the flame emperor. There isn't much of it to begin with. Every time you use it, there will be one less. It's just an alchemy competition. Why did you use the extreme emperor fire? Second uncle, who was in Zhao Ritian's mind, was about to scold him. This was the origin source left behind by the flame emperor in the flame emperor cauldron. Every time it was used, there would be one less. He did not expect Zhao Ritian to summon the flame emperor fire. Second uncle, I must defeat that bastard Ling Xiao in this grand alchemy competition. Otherwise, I have a feeling that I won't be able to become a sage. In fact, if I can use the flame emperor cauldron, I can refine a grade 9 divine pill for them. By then, the champion of the alchemy competition will be mine. Why would there be so much trouble? Zhao Ritian said nonchalantly. Just to defeat Ling Xiao? It seems like that brat has become an obsession in your heart. Oh well, to get rid of the obsession in your heart, it's worth it to waste an emperor fire. Second uncle laughed bitterly and shook his head. Hee hee, second uncle, just you wait. This emperor fire is definitely worth it. Didn't you see that I stole the limelight of the Xiantian origin fire? This time I must show Ling Xiao my prowess. Zhao Ritian said arrogantly. The speed of refining pills was very slow, especially when refining a flawless divine pill. One needed to be calm and carefully nurture the essence of the spiritual herbs in the cauldron. One even needed to absorb the energy of heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. In this 1 month, some alchemists had made mistakes in their operation, causing their alchemy to fail completely. After all, everyone only had one chance this time. Once they failed to refine the pill, it would mean that they were completely eliminated. However, most of the alchemists continued to refine pills. There were still thousands of stone platforms in the void. Almost everyone had reached the final critical moment. It was time to condense the pill. Condensing the pill was the most difficult stage in the process of refining pills. Refining the essence of the spiritual herbs was very basic. As long as one's primordial spirit was strong and one's fire control was good enough, refining the essence of the spiritual herbs was possible. The only difference was whether one could fully utilize the essence of the spiritual herbs. Condensing the pill was to gather the essence of the various spiritual herbs in the cauldron together to form a perfect structure. It was the biggest test for an alchemist. Kacha! Clear and crisp sounds rang out in the sky. Immediately, the faces of the alchemists on the stone platforms turned ashen. This was because they had failed completely due to their mistakes in the process of condensing the pill. After working hard for a month, they still failed in the end. Rumble! However, the void was suddenly shrouded by dark clouds. Blazing lightning lit up the void, containing boundless destructive power. It locked onto a cauldron and an alchemist. This is the pill tribulation. A divine pill is about to be born. Someone exclaimed. Suddenly, an extremely excited look appeared on his face. The divine pill contained the origin of the great path. Refining a divine pill was like going against the heavens. Once the heavens sensed it, it would naturally send down a powerful lightning tribulation. The fact that the lightning in the void was so fierce meant that someone had refined a divine pill. Everyone looked over and realized that the person who had refined the divine pill was Lu Wenlong. Lu Wenlong formed a seal with his hands. His eyes were dazzling. The cauldron in front of him was emitting a brilliant light. An incomparably vast holy path aura spread out from it. The pill tribulation in the void had sensed that he had successfully condensed the pill in the cauldron. That was why it had come down. Chapter 1896. Kacha! Dark clouds rolled in the sky and the lightning was dazzling. It was like a thunder dragon rolling in the sky, exuding a vast aura. It locked onto the elixir cauldron in front of Lu Wenlong. Lu Wenlong's elixir cauldron was trembling slightly at this moment. A fragrance filled the air, containing an incomparably mysterious aura. A golden lotus bloomed on top of the elixir cauldron, blooming with 9 lotus petals. It was like a flower of the great Tao, flowing with a gorgeous luster. It's the golden lotus saint elixir? I didn't expect Lu Wenlong to refine the golden lotus saint elixir. Although the golden lotus saint elixir is only a first-grade divine elixir, it is extremely precious. It can purify the primordial spirit and refine the saint force. It even has the possibility of being promoted to a second-grade divine elixir. Heavenly Talisman Shangren exclaimed. His eyes were filled with astonishment. Previously, all the alchemists had hidden the spiritual herbs they had chosen during the refining process. Therefore, no one had been able to detect the elixir they had refined. However, during the process of condensing the elixir qi leaked out and the fragrance filled the air. Some experienced experts could tell what elixir it was just by looking at this. The golden lotus saint elixir is extremely mysterious and difficult to refine. However, whether it's a first-grade divine elixir or a second-grade divine elixir depends on how many elixir tribulations are descending. Someone nodded with a hint of anticipation in his eyes. Divine elixirs were divided into 9 grades. A first-grade divine elixir could trigger more than 1 elixir tribulation, 9 elixir tribulations, and 18 elixir tribulations. It was a second-grade divine elixir. Legend had it that the most perfect 9th-grade divine elixir could trigger 81 chaos elixir tribulations. It was perfect and flawless. Even a saint king would not be able to resist fighting against such a divine elixir. Everyone's eyes fell on Lu Wenlong. After all, he was the first person to condense the elixir and also the first person to refine a divine elixir. Lu Wenlong's expression was calm and indifferent. His hands were constantly forming seals. His powerful primordial spirit merged into the elixir cauldron and merged with the mysterious medicinal liquid. It was as if a golden lotus had bloomed, and even the shape of it appeared on the elixir cauldron. The golden lotus swayed in the wind, looking very lifelike. And in the center of the flower, a bright golden light flickered, as if a pill was about to take shape. The fragrance of the elixir permeated the air as Saint Path origins spread out from the golden lotus, causing the lightning in the void to become even more dazzling. The dense black clouds gave birth to a sense of oppression in everyone's heart. Lu Wenlong's talent in the Tao of alchemy is not bad. He should be able to refine a Tier 2 holy pill, but it's still too risky for him to choose the Golden Lotus holy pill. Tai Yunzi's eyes flashed as he slowly said, "You're overestimating yourself. The Golden Lotus Saint pill is not an ordinary saint pill. After all, he is only a 9-star alchemist grandmaster. It is too risky." Xiao Hong said expressionlessly. "Risk? How could he stand out if he didn't take risks? I think Lu Wenlong's strategy is not bad as long as he can refine a Golden Lotus Holy Dan, and also the preciousness of a Golden Lotus Holy Dan. If no one can refine a Tier 3 Holy Pellet, then he will be the champion." Master Jiao smiled faintly. Although he had taken Lu Qinghuan as his disciple, he was very impressed with Lu Wenlong's temperament. Perhaps Lu Qinghuan's talent was not inferior to Lu Wenlong's, but his temperament was still slightly inferior. Since senior brother Jiao thinks so highly of Lu Wenlong, I think Lu Wenlong will definitely be able to refine a Tier 2 Golden Lotus Holy Pill. Tai Yunzi chuckled softly. "That might not be the case," Xiao Hong said faintly. Boom. While the three sages were talking, Lu Wenlong's alchemy cauldron spewed out a dazzling golden glow. In an instant, a golden elixir soared into the sky, containing an incomparably mysterious spirituality. It was like a golden lotus that bloomed in the void. The Golden Lotus Holy Pill had condensed. However, the moment the Golden Lotus Holy Pill condensed, the pill tribulation that had been accumulating in the void for a long time also descended. A black thunderbolt that was as thick as a water bucket traversed the heavens and the earth, containing an incomparably powerful destructive force. The vast pressure was not weaker than the legendary Saint Tribulation, causing everyone to involuntarily focus their eyes. The black thunderbolt struck the Golden Lotus Holy Pill directly, and the incomparably terrifying destructive force seemed to want to turn the Golden Lotus Holy Pill into dust. However, the Golden Lotus Saint Elixir buzzed in the void, emitting a strange light. The golden light collided with the lightning, and sparks filled the air. The powerful lightning power directly integrated into the Golden Lotus Saint Elixir, making the Golden Lotus Saint Elixir's spirituality stronger. Boom, boom, boom. The first pill tribulation did not do anything to the Golden Lotus Holy Pill, but the second, third, and fourth pill tribulation descended. The void seemed to have turned into a blazing sea of thunderbolts, containing an incomparably powerful pressure. It was incomparably terrifying. Thunderbolts traversed the heavens and the earth, striking the Golden Lotus Holy Pill. However, not only did the Golden Lotus Holy Pill not show any signs of shattering, but it also shone even more brightly, filled with spirituality. As the pill tribulation descended, the Golden Lotus Holy Pill passed through 8 pill tribulations, but the sea of thunderbolts in the void showed no signs of dissipating. Could it be that this Golden Lotus Holy Pill is really going to be promoted to a Tier 2 Holy Pill? Everyone could not help but have the same thought, and their gazes became incomparably solemn. Under normal circumstances, a 9-star alchemy grandmaster could only refine a top-notch half-saint elixir. With a powerful saint flame, a special alchemy technique, and the origin saint elixir, there was a chance to refine a Tier 1 holy pill, but the success rate was not high. Previously, everyone had only guessed that the Golden Lotus Holy Pill that Lu Wenlong had refined was only a Tier 1 holy pill, but they did not expect it to look like a Tier 2 holy pill. This kind of stunning alchemy talent made everyone incomparably shocked and impressed. Boom! The 9th pill tribulation descended. The thunderbolt was dazzling, but it still did not damage the Golden Lotus Holy Pill. Next was the 10th pill tribulation. The 10th pill tribulation was obviously stronger than the 9th. The thunderbolt contained a crimson color, and it looked extremely oppressive. When it struck the golden lotus holy pill, it was as if a blazing flame had erupted. However, what made everyone feel relieved was that the golden lotus holy pill had passed through the 10th pill tribulation, as expected of the Lu family's dragon phoenix. This Lu Wenlong's talent in alchemy is probably not weaker than the mountain master's disciple, Zhuo Bufan. Someone exclaimed in surprise. That's right. It's a pity that Lu Wenlong doesn't have the origin fire. Otherwise, the golden lotus holy pill might be able to be promoted to a tier 3 holy pill. However, with the golden lotus holy pill alone, even if he can't become the alchemy champion, it won't be a problem for him to enter the top 10. It's still a pity. Chapter 1897. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he noticed Lu Wenlong's golden lotus saint elixir. He muttered to himself, "Golden lotus saint elixir? Lu Wenlong's talent in alchemy is indeed strong. It's a pity that the golden lotus hasn't formed the 3 talents of heaven, earth, and man. Otherwise, a grade 3 or grade 4 divine elixir wouldn't be a problem. I'm afraid this golden lotus saint elixir can only go through 16 pill tribulations at most." Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the Hunyuan alchemy saint and the Sun Moon alchemy sect. It was as if he had all the memories and experience of an alchemy saint. However, he knew that he couldn't force it. Even an ordinary alchemy saint might not be able to form the 3 talents of heaven, earth, and man, let alone Lu Wenlong. Rumble. Although the pill tribulation in the void was extremely hot and contained an extremely powerful pressure, the stone platforms that the alchemists were sitting on all released a powerful defensive barrier that protected them from the interference of the lightning tribulation. When Lu Wenlong's golden lotus saint elixir went through the 15th pill tribulations, the sea of lightning in the void began to weaken. When the 16th pill tribulations came, the sea of lightning in the void had completely disappeared. 16 pill tribulations and a grade 2 golden lotus saint elixir. This is the limit I can reach now. It's a pity. If I can go through 2 more pill tribulations, it will be complete grade 2. Lu Wenlong nodded with a trace of pity in his eyes. After a month of non-stop alchemy, Lu Wenlong's face was still full of fatigue despite his profound cultivation and strong primordial spirit. Sush. When the golden lotus saint elixir went through the 16th pill tribulations, it wanted to fly away. Lu Wenlong instantly caught it in his hand and put it in a jade box that he had prepared beforehand. He then handed it to an elder of Pill Seal Mountain. Lu Wenlong's mentality was very good. He knew that he had done his best, so he didn't have any regrets. He looked very calm and only glanced at Ling Xiao before leaving the stone platform. Although Lu Wenlong knew that Zhuo Bufan and Zhao Ritian were the most likely to win the grand alchemy competition, he was still filled with a special feeling towards Ling Xiao. It was as if Ling Xiao could create a miracle. Rumble. Following Lu Wenlong's success, the lightning in the void was dazzling as many alchemists began to condense their elixirs. A month's time was enough for them to refine the pills that they wanted to refine. However, most of the alchemists were not as amazing as Lu Wenlong. Half of the alchemists had only refined a half-saint pill, and the other half had only passed 2 or 3 pill tribulations even though they had refined a saint pill. Such a divine pill could only be considered as a low-grade divine pill even among tier 1 divine pills. Its quality was not high. Within the pill cauldron in front of Ling Xiao, a resplendent galaxy floated. At this moment, the hundreds of spiritual herbs had turned into hundreds of stars, revolving in the starry sky, emitting bright starlight, looking mysterious and unfathomable. Elixirs XSS Divine 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 Elixirs. Saint Elixirs Saint Divine Elixirs Divine Divine Saint Elixirs Divine. Elixirs Divine. These hundreds of stars formed a very mysterious star atlas. They slowly revolved around each other as they absorbed and devoured Zhou Tian's energy. In the end, traces of purple qi were emitted and gathered above the sun in the center. Over the past month, Ling Xiao had used the devouring fire to refine these hundreds of divine elixirs as he guarded the star atlas in front of him. Although Ling Xiao could have condensed his elixirs long ago, he still did not choose to do so. Ling Xiao's hands quickly formed a seal. At the same time, he channeled a huge amount of primordial spirit power into the elixir tribulations. He split it into hundreds of streams and carefully observed the movements of the hundreds of stars. In order to refine the Saint Spirit elixir, Ling Xiao focused all his attention on the elixir tribulations. He even used the alchemy technique that Hunyuan Alchemy Saint used to refine the Hunyuan Golden Elixir. Celestial Star Convergence Technique. This was the method that Hunyuan Alchemy Saint used to refine the Hunyuan Golden Elixir. It was also an extremely ancient method. After refining the essence of the elixir tribulations, it condensed into a star atlas and cast down a mysterious formation. It would produce a mysterious connection with the stars above and absorb their energy at the same time. That way, not only would the essence of the elixir tribulations be pushed to the limit, but it would also be tainted with some transcendental qi. By fusing with the energy of the stars, the pills refined in the end would often possess extremely mysterious effects. At the same time, Ling Xiao used a heaven-shrouding secret technique to conceal the presence of the celestial star convergence technique. As a result, no one noticed what alchemy technique he used. After devouring the energy of the stars for almost a month, Ling Xiao could sense that the hundreds of stars were almost full. Once they were completely full and could no longer devour the energy of the stars, it would be time for Ling Xiao to condense his elixir. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, two loud rumbles were heard, and two extremely vast and majestic thunderclouds appeared in the void. Another elixir tribulation had descended, and it was two huge elixir tribulations. Everyone's eyes flashed. They found that Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong had condensed their elixirs at the same time. Two bright elixirs, one black and one white, rose into the sky. In an instant, two extremely terrifying elixir tribulations descended. Xiao Rui refined the Black Jade Rejuvenation Pill. This is a very ordinary elixir pill. It can heal extremely serious physical injuries and also has a miraculous effect on the injuries of the primordial spirit. It should be able to become a second-grade elixir pill. I just don't know how many elixir tribulations it can cross. Someone recognized the elixir refined by Xiao Rui and said slowly. In comparison, Huang Xuanzong refined the Xian Pure Saint Elixir Pill. This is a saint elixir that can increase the strength of the primordial spirit and even reshape the Tao foundation. I just don't know if it can become a first-grade or second-grade elixir pill. Although Huang Xuanzong's martial arts talent is good, he is still inferior to Xiao Rui in terms of alchemy talent. Yes, I think the Xian Pure Saint Elixir Pill is only a first-grade elixir pill. Everyone looked at the thunderclouds above the void and commented. Although Huang Xuanzong was the saint son of the Five Elements Saint sect and had extraordinary strength, this was a competition of alchemy. Many disciples of the Pill Talisman Mountain regarded the Pill Talisman Mountain as the holy land of alchemy and talisman in the world. Naturally, they wouldn't have a high evaluation of Huang Xuanzong. Rumble. Elixir tribulations descended one after another. The Black Jade Rejuvenation Pill and the Xian Pure Saint Elixir Pill were both undergoing elixir tribulations. Moreover, the elixir tribulations became more and more dazzling. Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong's eyes were full of anticipation, especially when they saw that the Golden Lotus Saint Elixir refined by Lu Wenlong had actually crossed 16 elixir tribulations. Xiao Rui's heart was even more stifled. He wanted to defeat Lu Wenlong. Chapter 1898. However, Huang Xuanzong knew that his alchemy skills had already exceeded his expectations. Hence, he did not say much. Boom. The Black Jade Rejuvenation Elixir that Xiao Rui had refined had passed through the 10th and 11th pill tribulations. When the 14th pill tribulation descended, Xiao Rui's eyes flashed. He could clearly see that the thundercloud had weakened a little. His heart sank. Damn it! I can't lose to Lu Wenlong. Xiao Rui's face turned extremely ugly as he prayed in his heart. The black jade rejuvenation elixir that he had refined was originally easier to refine than the golden lotus saint elixir. If the number of pill tribulations that he had passed was less than the golden lotus saint elixir, he would really be embarrassed. At this moment, even Xiao Hong, who was in the void, could not help but frown. Obviously, he was a little dissatisfied with Xiao Rui's performance. Boom! When the 15th pill tribulation descended, the thundercloud in the void seemed to be about to dissipate. This made Xiao Rui's eyes twitch as his heart sank. Rumble! However, for some reason, the thundercloud suddenly trembled slightly. Before it disappeared, another pill tribulation descended from the void and blasted directly on the black jade rejuvenation elixir. The 16th pill tribulation descended. The black jade rejuvenation elixir had finally passed through the 16th pill tribulation. It was barely a draw with Lu Wenlong. This made Xiao Rui's face look better. Otherwise, he would really be too ashamed to face anyone. Even so, the black jade rejuvenation elixir was not as valuable as the golden lotus saint elixir. Compared to Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui was still slightly inferior. Master Jiao could not help but frown. He stared at Xiao Hong and said, "Junior brother Xiao, you are openly helping Xiao Rui. Do you really think that I don't exist?" With Master Jiao's eyesight, how could he not see it? The black jade rejuvenation elixir could only pass through the 15th pill tribulation. However, because Xiao Hong had secretly intercepted part of the heaven and earth essence qi and integrated it into the Thunder Sea, it triggered the 16th pill tribulation. Although Xiao Hong had done it very secretly and even deceived many alchemists below, he naturally could not hide it from Master Jiao, who was also a sage. Senior brother Jiao must be joking. I did not help Xiao. It was just a coincidence. Xiao Hong said lightly. His expression was very calm as if he really did not do it. Xiao Hong, you dare to do it but don't dare to admit it? Master Jiao frowned, and a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. Seeing that Master Jiao was getting angry, Tai Yunzi laughed bitterly and said, Senior brother Jiao, junior brother Xiao, please calm down. Don't let others see you as a joke. This is the pill talisman ceremony. After hearing Tai Yunzi's words, Master Wine stared at Xiao Hong for a while before he said coldly, Don't let this happen again. If I find out that you've made a move again, don't blame me for being rude. Senior brother Jiao, you must have seen wrongly. I didn't do anything. A clean conscience is not afraid of false accusations. Xiao Hong smiled faintly. He didn't admit that he had made a move. Master Jiao wanted to say something, but his eyes narrowed. He saw a bright golden light shooting up into the sky from afar. Rumble! The cauldron in front of Zhao Ritian gushed with multicolored light. It looked dazzling. A golden pill flew out from the cauldron, exuding an incomparably mysterious saint aura. Is it the Sun Saint pill? Master Jiao's eyes flashed. His attention was completely attracted by Zhao Ritian. The golden pill was like a golden divine sun that shot up into the sky. It exuded an ancient and mysterious aura, as if it was filled with flames. In the pill, one could faintly see the shadow of a three-legged golden crow. It spat out endless flames, as if it could burn the heavens and destroy the earth. This was the legendary Sun Saint pill, which contained the origin energy of the fire attribute. Moreover, the aura that this Sun Saint elixir emitted when it was born was far superior to ordinary saint elixirs. Even Lu Wenlong's golden lotus saint elixir and Xiao Rui's black jade rejuvenation elixir were inferior. Rumble! The Sun Saint pill shone brightly. As soon as it appeared in the void, the wind and clouds in the sky surged. The lightning was dazzling. Thick thunderbolts were like mountains. Finally, they gathered to form a powerful pill tribulation that descended. When the pill tribulation landed on the Sun Saint pill, it didn't even make the Sun Saint pill tremble. The Sun Saint pill absorbed the mysterious thunderbolts contained within. Rumble! 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 One after another, the pill tribulations fell from the sky. The void seemed to have turned into a sea of lightning. The Sun Saint pill shone brightly, illuminating the entire area. This Sun Saint pill is probably going to be a second-grade divine pill that has survived 18 lightning tribulations. Someone exclaimed in surprise. 17 consecutive pill tribulations fell, but the sun saint pill didn't change at all. It only shone more brightly, and the shadow of the three-legged golden crow looked like it was about to fly out of the pill. A second-grade divine pill? I think the potential of this sun saint pill isn't limited to this. It might even become a third-grade divine pill. Heavenly Talisman Taoist's eyes flashed as he said slowly, "A third-grade divine pill?" After hearing Heavenly Talisman Taoist's words, everyone couldn't help but gasp. Even an ordinary alchemy saint would find it difficult to refine a third-grade divine pill. Was Zhao Ritian stronger than an ordinary alchemy saint? Was he still a 9-star alchemy grandmaster? Where did this guy called Ling Xiao come from? We didn't recognize the strange flame from before. However, its power isn't any weaker than the celestial origin fire. Now that he has refined a sun saint pill of such quality, how can we live? Everyone laughed bitterly in their hearts. They were completely shocked by Zhao Ritian. Rumble. At the same time, beside Zhao Ritian, a dazzling ray of light rose up. It was filled with 7-colored light and looked dazzling. Its aura was strong and unparalleled. It was not weaker than Zhao Ritian's Saint Sun elixir at all. "It's Zhuobu Fan!" Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with excitement. Zhuobu Fan was the disciple of the Pill Talisman Mountain Master. He was a supreme genius in the Alchemy Dao and Talisman Dao. He possessed the celestial origin fire and was known as the person who had the highest chance of becoming the Alchemy Dao champion in this year's Pill Talisman ceremony. Naturally, Zhuobu Fan was the center of attention. Now that he had condensed his pill, everyone was excited. Rumble. The 7-colored divine light was dazzling. The pill emitted a 7-colored light and a mysterious fragrance filled the air. Everyone couldn't help but be intoxicated. They felt like they were floating and their primordial spirits became clearer. "What kind of divine pill is this?" someone asked. He couldn't recognize this divine pill at all. However, he knew that this divine pill was definitely extraordinary and terrifying. Could this be? Could this be that kind of divine pill? Heavenly Talisman Taoist's body trembled. He seemed to have thought of something. His eyes were filled with excitement and disbelief. His voice involuntarily rose a few octaves. Chapter 1899. Zhuobu Fan was dressed in snow-white robes. His black hair hung loosely behind his head. His temperament was otherworldly, and he had a divine aura. He had a faint smile on his lips, and his eyes were as bright as the stars. A pill floated in the void in front of him. It emitted a 7-colored light and had a mysterious luster. It seemed to have formed a mysterious connection with the stars in the 9 heavens. Beams of starlight descended and merged into the pill. The pill became more and more ancient, and its aura became more and more unfathomable. "Esteemed Lord, what kind of pill is this?" someone asked curiously. Although there were many alchemists and talisman masters here, most of them did not recognize what pill Zhuobu Fan was refining. 7-star Sacred Heart Pill. Heavenly Talisman Esteemed Lord took a deep breath and said solemnly, "What? It's actually the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill? The 7-star Sacred Heart Pill that is said to be able to merge the power of the 7 stars and cleanse one's inner demons?" someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The 7-star Sacred Heart Pill was a sacred pill from ancient times. Legend had it that when the pill was condensed, it could absorb the essence of the 7 stars of the Big Dipper. It could cleanse one's inner demons and allow one to enter the state of enlightenment. One had to know that in order to become a saint, one had to go through many difficulties and dangers. The inner demons were even more terrifying. The slightest carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. The 7-star Sacred Heart Pill was a supreme sacred pill created by the ballistic Holy Land in ancient times. However, legend had it that it had long been lost. Who would have thought that Zhuobu Fan would refine it? I didn't expect that Pill Talisman Mountain would have the pill formula for the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill. Now, I'm afraid that the 12 immortal Holy Lands will not be able to remain calm. By then, with the help of the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill, Pill Talisman Mountain status will be able to take another step forward. Heavenly Talisman esteemed Lord exclaimed. Take another step forward? Pill Talisman Mountain is now the #1 sect below the 12 immortal holy lands. If they take another step forward, won't they be ranked among the 12 immortal holy lands? Someone exclaimed. Many people didn't dare to believe it, but they weren't fools. They knew that Zhuobufan had planned to concoct the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill. Maybe this alchemy talisman ceremony was held to let Zhuobufan shine. In comparison, although the Holy Sun Pill was also very precious, it was inferior to the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill. After all, the Holy Sun Pill did not have the effect of increasing one's Tao and becoming a saint. Looks like Zhuobufan is destined to be the alchemy champion this time. Someone lamented. They gradually came to understand that Zhuobufan was the most important person in the alchemy talisman ceremony. Even if they took out the origin source flame, it would still fall into Zhuobufan's hands in the end. Zhuobufan will definitely win this alchemy competition. In the void, Xiaohong's eyes flashed as he said faintly, "It's actually a 7-star Sacred Heart Pill? What a guy! I didn't think that Senior Brother Mountain Chieftain would be able to fool us as well. But then again, once the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill is born, it's true that no one can defeat Martial Nephew Zhua." Tai Yunzi smiled bitterly. That's not necessarily true. Master Jiao said slowly as he stared at the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill for a while. Oh, Senior Brother Jiao, do you think that there is someone who can defeat Martial Nephew Zhua? Tai Yunzi asked curiously. The 7-star Sacred Heart Pill is an ancient elixir. It is extremely difficult to refine it. Zhuobufan is only a 9-star alchemy grandmaster and has not stepped into the realm of an alchemy saint. Even if he has the celestial origin source flame, I'm afraid that he can only refine a grade 3 divine elixir at most. As long as someone can refine a grade 4 divine elixir, they will be able to defeat him. Master Jiao said slowly. A grade 4 divine elixir? Senior Brother Jiao, you make it sound so easy. Even an ordinary alchemy saint would find it difficult to refine a grade 4 divine elixir. Although a grade 3 divine elixir and a grade 4 divine elixir only differ by 1 grade, the actual difference is like heaven and earth. I don't think that anyone can refine a grade 4 divine elixir. Xiao Hong laughed coldly. Tai Yunzi thought for a while and nodded. That's right. Senior Brother Jiao, although some of these alchemy masters are talented, it is impossible for them to refine a grade 4 divine elixir. Is that so? Let's just wait and see. Master Jiao smiled faintly and did not argue. Rumble. In front of Zhuobufan, the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill also began to face the pill tribulation. Bolts of lightning fell from the 9 heavens. They looked extremely dazzling and contained an extremely terrifying aura. Its power was even stronger than the pill tribulation triggered by the Sun Saint elixir. At this moment, Zhuobufan had become the center of attention. 7-star Sacred Heart Pill? So what if it is a 7-star Sacred Heart Pill? I, Zhao Ritian, am the alchemy champion. Zhao Ritian glanced at Zhuobufan, who was beside him. His expression was ugly. He could feel the threat from Zhuobufan. The 7-star Sacred Heart Pill was indeed more valuable than the Sun Saint elixir. If both of them refined grade 2 divine elixir, the Sun Saint elixir would definitely not be comparable to the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill. If Zhao Ritian wanted to win against Zhuobufan, he had to make the Sun Saint elixir exceed the 7-star Sacred Heart Pill by 1 grade. Whoosh! Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a hint of pain. A wisp of golden flame shot out from his fingertip. In an instant, it turned into a golden rune and directly merged into the Sun Saint elixir. Rumble! The Sun Saint elixir seemed to be boiling. The surrounding flames rose up, blazing and dazzling. It contained a destructive energy fluctuation, as if it wanted to destroy everything around it. The Sun Saint elixir was like a heart. It floated in the sea of flames, continuously devouring Zhou Tian's energy. It became more and more mysterious and powerful. Bolts of lightning fell, enveloping the Sun Saint elixir. Because Zhao Ritian's actions were very subtle, and the flames in the alchemy cauldron had been surrounding the Sun Saint elixir, no one noticed Zhao Ritian's little movements. "You bastard, you actually used another wisp of extreme earthly fire? You prodigal son." Second uncle was so angry that he cursed. He wanted to go up and beat Zhao Ritian up. "Second uncle, the alchemy champion this time will definitely be me," Zhao Ritian said stubbornly. His eyes became brighter and brighter. Rumble. However, at this moment, another bright light burst out. The void trembled violently. Above the 9 heavens, dark clouds were tumbling, covering everything. Only bolts of lightning could be seen. However, at this moment, hundreds of bright stars appeared. Mysterious pillars of starlight fell, surging into the alchemy cauldron below. "What's that?" someone exclaimed in surprise. Chapter 1900. Amidst the dazzling galaxy, the endless power of the stars surged into an alchemy cauldron. A golden flame burned within the cauldron, emitting a clear and ethereal aura. A young man in white sat cross-legged in front of the alchemy cauldron. His expression was focused as he slammed his palms on the cauldron, producing rhythmic sounds. "It's Zhao Ritian?" Everyone's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. They did not expect Ling Xiao to cause such a huge commotion even before he condensed the pill. This made them even more curious about the pill that Ling Xiao was refining. What kind of pill is Zhao Ritian refining? Why is there such a huge commotion? Everyone's hearts were filled with doubts. The alchemy cauldron in front of Ling Xiao was emitting a strange fluctuation that made them feel comfortable all over. It was as if all the pores on their bodies had opened up, making them feel as if they were floating in the air. "Esteemed Lord, do you recognize what kind of pill this is?" Someone looked at the heavenly talisman Esteemed Lord and asked. The heavenly talisman Esteemed Lord took a closer look and laughed bitterly. "This pill is very strange. I'm not very sure either. However, it looks like an ancient pill. Perhaps we will know the answer after the pill is condensed." Even with the heavenly talisman Esteemed Lord's vast knowledge, he was still unable to identify the pill that Ling Xiao was refining. This made everyone even more curious. Rumble. Suddenly, the alchemy cauldron erupted with an extremely powerful devouring force. The starlight in the sky was instantly devoured by the cauldron like a whale swallowing the sea. Golden rays of light shot out from the alchemy cauldron. In an instant, a dazzling golden pill shot out from the alchemy cauldron and floated in the void. What kind of pill is that? Everyone could not help but look at it. The golden pill in the void looked as if it was cast from gold. It flowed with a brilliant golden light and looked extremely mysterious. A faint spiritual mist was enshrouding it and a clear sound could be heard faintly from it. It was very pleasant to the ears and it emitted a kind of rhythm. Following the rhythm, everyone felt their breathing and primordial spirits become calm. It was as if they had fallen into a tranquil state of mind. It was extremely mysterious. However, no one could recognize what kind of pill it was. Everyone couldn't help but look at Heavenly Talisman Shangren. Heavenly Talisman Esteemed Lord was stunned for a long time, and he couldn't help but blush. He smiled bitterly and said, "I don't know what kind of pill this is, but it must be an ancient saint pill." Everyone couldn't help but curse silently. Wasn't this nonsense? Terrifying thunderclouds had already condensed in the void. Bolts of lightning fell from the 9 heavens. Such a powerful pill tribulation was undoubtedly a saint pill. However, what shocked everyone was that Ling Xiao had concocted such an incredible holy pill that even the heavenly talisman Exalted Lord couldn't recognize it. "This fellow really surprises me every time." Lin Shi also widened her eyes, her face filled with disbelief. Although she could not tell what kind of pill Ling Xiao was refining, she could tell that it was a pill that did not lose out to the Sun Saint pill. "I've already said that the champion of the alchemy competition this time will definitely be Big Brother Zhao Ritian," Little Monk said happily. Rumble. Lightning fell from the sky. Although many people in the void had concocted saint pills and attracted the power of the pill tribulation, everyone's gaze fell on Zhao Ritian, Zhuo Bufan, and Ling Xiao. This was because the saint pills that the three of them had concocted were the most powerful. It's actually the Saint Spirit pill? No wonder they couldn't recognize it. It's actually an ancient pill that doesn't lose out to the 7-star Sacred Heart pill. How did he get the recipe for the Saint Spirit pill? Master Jiao stared at the golden pill in front of Ling Xiao for a while, and said in disbelief, Saint Spirit pill? Could it be the Saint Spirit pill that's said to be able to transform the primordial spirit and merge it with the great Tao? It's said to be able to fuse with the origin energy and help one become a saint? After hearing Master Jiao's words, Tai Yunzi's face was also filled with shock. That's right. Although the Saint Spirit pill and the 7-star Sacred Heart pill can increase the chances of becoming a saint, the Saint Spirit pill is more precious than the 7-star Sacred Heart pill. Master Jiao nodded and said, although it's true that it's the Saint Spirit pill, Zhao Ritian's cultivation is only at the second revolution half-saint realm. Moreover, he doesn't have the origin energy. I'm afraid that even if he can refine the Saint Spirit pill, it'll at most be a grade 1 saint pill. Xiao Hong's eyes flashed as he said lightly, let's wait for the results. Master Jiao smiled faintly and said non-committally. He was filled with curiosity about Ling Xiao. Although he knew that Ling Xiao's cultivation wasn't strong, for some reason, he had a kind of anticipation in his heart. Perhaps Ling Xiao could really create a miracle. Rumble. Pill tribulations fell one after another. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Ritian's Saint Sun pill had gone through 18 pill tribulations. Then, the 19th pill tribulation fell. A grade 3 saint pill. Ling Xiao actually refined a grade 3 Saint Sun pill? Everyone exclaimed. Although they had already guessed it, they still found it unbelievable. Zhuo Bufan's 7-star Sacred Heart pill has also gone through 16 pill tribulations. Ling Xiao and Zhuo Bufan are both rare alchemy geniuses. I think after the Alchemy Talisman ceremony, Ling Xiao might be taken in by the Alchemy Talisman Mountain. That depends on whether Ling Xiao agrees or not. Who knows, he might be the successor of some hidden sect. Everyone was discussing animatedly, their eyes filled with incomparable anticipation. At this point in the Grand Alchemy competition, the pinnacle of the competition had finally arrived. Everyone had no doubt that the champion of the Grand Alchemy competition would be between Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. Moreover, Zhuo Bufan had the highest possibility of winning. As for Ling Xiao, although he had refined the Saint Spirit pill, because his cultivation was too weak and he didn't have a powerful flame, not many people paid attention to him. However, as the pill tribulations fell, the Saint Spirit pill had also gone through 6 pill tribulations. Ritian, Ling Xiao is refining the Saint Spirit pill from the primordial era. You have to be careful. Second Master's voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. Zhao Ritian's face froze. He stared at the Saint Spirit pill in front of Ling Xiao and said in surprise, it's the Saint Spirit pill? I didn't expect him to have such high attainments in alchemy. However, his cultivation is too weak. He won't be able to defeat me. That's not necessarily true. Don't fail miserably. Second Master said. Don't worry. My Saint Sun pill can definitely be refined into a grade 4 saint pill. Zhao Ritian said confidently. Boom. 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 Chapter 1901. It's already the 26th pill tribulation. Why is it still showing signs of stopping? Who is this Zhao Ritian? Zhuo Bufan, who was not far away, was also paying attention to the Sun Saint elixir. However, when the 26th pill tribulation descended, even Zhuo Bufan could not remain calm. After Zhuo Bufan's 7-star Sacred Heart elixir passed through the 24th pill tribulation, the pill tribulation actually showed signs of dissipating. However, Zhao Ritian's pill tribulation was still blazing. Although the 7-star Sacred Heart elixir was more precious than the Sun Saint elixir, that was under the condition that they were of the same grade. If the Sun Saint elixir's grade surpassed the 7-star Sacred Heart elixir, Zhuo Bufan would really lose. I can't lose. Zhuo Bufan's eyes flashed coldly as he took a deep breath. When the 27th pill tribulation descended, Zhuo finally saw the pill tribulation above the Sun Saint elixir showing signs of dissipating. He could not help but feel elated. If the Sun Saint elixir could stop here, it would only be a third-grade sacred elixir. Zhuo knew the huge difference between a third-grade sacred elixir and a fourth-grade sacred elixir. Boom! However, suddenly, an earth-shattering sound exploded in the void. The lightning in the sky gathered together and formed a silver-white thunderbolt. It descended from the void and landed on the Sun Saint elixir. The Sun Saint elixir suddenly emitted a blazing light. Endless flames rose and the mysterious three-legged golden crow flew out from the Sun Saint elixir. The silver-white thunderbolt contained an incomparably terrifying destructive power. It collided with the three-legged golden crow and an earth-shattering divine light exploded. Chirp! The three-legged golden crow seemed to have come alive. It let out an incomparably clear cry and exploded in an instant. Then, it mixed with the endless flames and the silver-white thunderbolt and blended directly into the Sun Saint elixir. The Sun Saint elixir trembled violently and made a buzzing sound. However, it still withstood the power of the attack in the end. The 28th pill tribulation. This also meant that the Sun Saint elixir had advanced to a fourth-grade sacred elixir. That was close. Zhao Ritian heaved a sigh of relief. He secretly wiped his forehead and said with some lingering fear. Originally, with Zhao Ritian's alchemy skills, even if he had the extreme earth fire, being able to refine a grade 3 sacred pill was his limit. After all, the difference between a grade 3 sacred pill and a grade 4 sacred pill was too big. However, Zhao Ritian was unwilling to admit defeat. In order to win against Zhuo, he did not hesitate to activate a wisp of the extreme earthly fire's power, forcefully pushing the Sun Saint pill into a Tier 4 divine pill. It was Zhuo turn to be dumbfounded. A fourth-grade divine pill? How is this possible? Everyone was stunned, their eyes filled with disbelief. A mere 9-star alchemy grandmaster was able to refine a fourth-grade sacred pill. This was simply unimaginable, but it did happen right in front of everyone's eyes. A fourth-grade sacred sun elixir. If Zhuo can't refine a fourth-grade sacred elixir, I'm afraid he'll lose even if it's a 7-star sacred heart elixir. Everyone looked at Zhuo worriedly. Boom. After Zhuo 7-star sacred heart elixir had passed through the 25th pill tribulation, the thunderclouds in the void began to dissipate. After all, the 7-star sacred heart elixir was too precious and difficult to refine. It was already not easy for Zhuo to reach such a stage. I won't lose. Zhuo said word by word, his eyes revealing a hint of madness. He suddenly bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood. He clapped his hands in the void, and the blood emitted a faint golden light, turning into an ancient rune. In an instant, the rune soared into the sky and imprinted itself on the 7-star sacred heart elixir. The 7-star sacred heart elixir trembled slightly, and a majestic aura spread out. The stars in the 9 heavens seemed to light up at this moment. It's not enough. I must win, I must win. Zhuo muttered to himself, his eyes filled with madness. Puff! Zhuo spat out another 6 mouthfuls of blood, which turned into runes and imprinted themselves on the 7-star sacred heart elixir. It was as if 7 bright stars had merged with the 7-star sacred heart elixir. Boom! The 7-star sacred heart elixir seemed to have activated some kind of power. In an instant, endless starlight sprinkled down from the void, causing the heavens and earth to tremble violently. The thunderclouds that were about to dissipate gathered again at this moment. The 26th lightning tribulation descended. After Zhuo spat out 7 mouthfuls of blood essence, his face turned as pale as a sheet of paper. However, his eyes were incomparably bright and filled with stubbornness and madness. Zhuo used the blood spirit elixir upgrading technique? This guy is too stubborn, isn't he? Tai Yunzi's face changed, and he said with a wry smile. Although the blood spirit elixir upgrading technique can forcibly raise the grade of an elixir, Zhuo has yet to become a saint. I'm afraid he won't be able to withstand such a powerful backlash from the heavens and earth. Master Jiao said with a sigh. Zhuobuffan placed too much importance on winning or losing. The blood spirit elixir upgrading technique had a huge backlash on the user. It was simply heaven-defying. Even the elixir saints rarely used this secret technique. Master Jiao did not expect Zhuobuffan to be so crazy. Boom! The 27th lightning tribulation liquid descended. However, Zhuobuffan's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. As the vast power of the heavens and earth descended, his entire body shook violently. Is this guy crazy? Isn't the blood spirit elixir upgrading technique just an alchemy champion? Is it worth it for him to go to such lengths? Zhao Ritian was shocked as well. His eyes were filled with disbelief. This guy seems to have a special obsession with being the champion. The second uncle asked curiously, "What a lunatic! At most, I'll give you the championship." Zhao Ritian muttered. Boom! Finally, when the 28th lightning tribulation liquid descended, Zhuobuffan was covered in blood. His entire body was dyed red, but his eyes were filled with madness. He suddenly leaped up and grabbed the 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir in his hand. Ha! 4th grade 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir. I won, Zhuobuffan laughed loudly. However, before he could finish his sentence, he fainted and fell from the sky. The backlash from the blood spirit elixir upgrading technique was not easy to withstand. Zhuobuffan had not cultivated a secret technique, his strength was strong, and he had only triggered 3 elixir tribulations. Otherwise, he would have been turned into dust by the backlash of the Great Path. Chapter 1902. Swoosh! A gray-robed old man appeared in the void with a flash of light around him. He caught Zhuobuffan, who had fainted. The gray-robed elder was Zhuobuffan's subordinate and had the cultivation of a 9th revolution half-saint. After a careful examination, he realized that Zhuobuffan had only fainted and suffered some minor injuries. He heaved a sigh of relief and brought Zhuobuffan to the side for treatment. The crowd was stunned. Their attention was completely attracted by the 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir. The value of a 4th grade 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir had already surpassed the Sun Saint Elixir. Zhuobuffan had finally won against Zhao Ritian. It seems like the champion of the alchemy conference has been decided. It's Zhuobuffan. Hee, it's true that the goodies should be kept within the family. I knew that Pill Talisman Mountain wouldn't be so kind to take out an origin source flame. It seems like it was prepared for Zhuobuffan. That Ling Xiao is also very strong. If Zhuobuffan hadn't used some secret technique to forcefully upgrade the 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir to a 4th grade Sacred Elixir, I'm afraid that Ling Xiao would have won. The crowd discussed animatedly with different expressions. However, they were all certain that Zhuobuffan would be the champion of the alchemy conference this time. This bastard is really cruel to himself. He even used the blood spirit elixir upgrading technique. I, Zhao Ritian, will let you be the champion. Zhao Ritian muttered gloomily. It was difficult for even an ordinary alchemy saint to refine a 4th grade 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir. However, Zhuobuffan had done it. This was beyond Zhao Ritian's expectations. Look, the Saint Spirit Elixir that Zhao Ritian refined has already gone through 16 pill tribulations. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. His voice was filled with disbelief. What? The crowd couldn't help but tremble as they quickly looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in front of the cauldron with a calm expression. The Saint Spirit Elixir before him was shining with golden light as it floated amidst the lightning. Numerous thick pill tribulations fell and exploded with blazing light. No one had expected that the Saint Spirit Elixir had already gone through 16 pill tribulations. However, the thunderclouds in the void showed no signs of dissipating. How is this possible? He's only a 2nd revolution half-saint. How can he refine a 2nd-grade Saint Spirit Elixir? The crowd's eyes were filled with disbelief. The 17th pill tribulation descended. The light was incomparably scorching, containing an incomparably terrifying destructive power, causing the Saint Spirit pill to tremble slightly. However, in the end, the Saint Spirit Pill devoured the lightning within the pill tribulation, causing the Saint Spirit Pill to become even more dazzling. Master Wine's eyes lit up, and a smile appeared on his face. Xiao Hong's eyes narrowed as he found it hard to believe. He even felt a burning sensation on his face as though he had been slapped. After all, he had just said that the Saint Spirit Elixir that Ling Xiao had refined was only a first-grade Saint Elixir. Now, it seemed that the Saint Spirit Elixir wasn't even a second-grade Saint Elixir, let alone a first-grade Saint Elixir. What puzzled Xiao Hong was that Ling Xiao was only a second revolution half-saint at such a young age. He didn't even have a powerful flame. How could he have such powerful alchemy skills? The Saint Spirit Elixir was an ancient elixir. Even if Xiao Hong had the pill formula, it would take him a lot of effort to refine a third-grade Saint Spirit Elixir. Could it be that Zhao Ritian's alchemy skills were on par with his? Xiao Hong's face darkened at the thought of this. Boom! When the 18th pill tribulations fell, everyone felt their hearts tremble. In the void, the thunderclouds were still blazing. Bolts of lightning coiled around like lightning dragons. The Saint Spirit Elixir was as bright and radiant as the sun. Boom! 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 The 19th, 20th, and 21st pill tribulations fell one after another. However, it didn't affect the Saint Spirit Elixir at all. It's already a third-grade Saint Spirit Elixir. Could it be that this guy is also trying to refine a fourth-grade Saint Elixir? Lin Shi stared intently at Ling Xiao, her voice unconsciously trembling. She had thought that Zhuo Bufan was destined to be the champion. However, it seemed that the outcome was still uncertain. Could Zhao Ritian really create a miracle? The champion will definitely be brother Zhao Ritian. Little Monk was full of confidence in Ling Xiao as he said happily. Boom! When the 26th pill tribulations fell, the lightning was dazzling. As the lightning merged with the Saint Spirit Elixir, the Saint Spirit Elixir became even more mysterious and unpredictable. The crowd was almost numb. They didn't dare to imagine where Ling Xiao's limit was. Could it be that Zhao Ritian really wants to refine a fourth-grade Saint Spirit Elixir? The crowd couldn't help but have the same thought in their minds. No, the lightning clouds are starting to dissipate. It seems like the Saint Spirit Elixir will stop at third-grade Saint Elixir. The Heavenly Talisman Lord's eyes flashed as he said. Everyone was taken aback and looked over. Only then did they realize that the thunderclouds in the sky had indeed become a lot fainter. Moreover, endless lightning was rising. In the end, it all turned into a blazing pill tribulation that descended from the sky. Gotcha! When the 27th pill tribulation landed on the Saint Spirit Elixir, the lightning clouds in the sky started to dissipate. 27 pill tribulations and a third-grade Saint Elixir. Like I said, how could it be so easy to refine a fourth-grade Saint Elixir? Someone heaved a sigh of relief. A third-grade Saint Elixir was still acceptable. However, if Ling Xiao managed to refine a fourth-grade Saint Elixir, it would be hard to say who would be the champion. Xiao Hong also heaved a sigh of relief. He said calmly, even though a third-grade Saint Spirit Elixir isn't bad, it's not going to be the champion. Xiao Hong finally managed to save some face. If Ling Xiao really managed to refine a fourth-grade Saint Spirit Elixir, he would really be embarrassed. The result was something that he could barely accept. Third-grade Saint Spirit Elixir. Chapter 1903. He seemed to have expected this outcome. However, bolts of lightning began to rise from his palm as if he had summoned the power of the heavens. In an instant, a blazing lightning dragon shot out from his palm and flew towards the Saint Spirit Pill. Rumble! The blazing lightning contained the power of the lightning tribulation. In an instant, it enveloped the Saint Spirit Pill. Then, traces of tribulation chi began to flow into the Saint Spirit Pill. The thunderclouds that were about to dissipate suddenly trembled when they sensed the dense tribulation chi. The void trembled violently as a boundless heavenly might spread out. An incomparably powerful thundercloud gathered together once again. At this moment, the 28th tribulation chi pill descended. What? How is this possible? Everyone was stunned. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. The thunderclouds had begun to dissipate, which meant that the tribulation chi pill had ended. However, they only saw Ling Xiao unleash a lightning dragon that enveloped the Saint Spirit pill. Then the heavens and earth shook. The thunderclouds in the void gathered once again and the 28th tribulation chi pill descended. They did not even see what Ling Xiao did before the thunderclouds gathered once again. What kind of secret technique is this? Tai Yunzi's eyes flashed as he exclaimed in shock. The so-called secret technique was a secret technique to raise the grade of the pill. It usually involved the laws of heaven and earth and was extremely mysterious. Just like Zhe Bufan's blood spirit pill upgrading technique, it used his own blood essence as a guide to resonate with heaven and earth. It forcefully urged the laws of heaven and earth to send down a tribulation chi pill to raise the grade of the pill. Although Tai Yunzi was a sage, he was unable to recognize what kind of secret technique Ling Xiao was using. This was because Ling Xiao did not use the secret technique at all. He used his own tribulation seed as a foundation. Under the cover of the heaven shrouding technique, he injected the tribulation chi into the Saint Spirit pill. Under the influence of the tribulation chi, a new tribulation chi was triggered. The tribulation chi was extremely mysterious. It was invisible and intangible. Those who did not cultivate the indestructible saint technique would not be able to sense it. Even if a sage knew of the tribulation chi's existence, he would not be able to detect it unless he was able to. Not to mention, Ling Xiao had also used the heaven shrouding technique. This Zhao Ritian actually knows the secret technique of pill refinement? I'm afraid even my pill talisman mountain doesn't have such a secret technique. If we can get our hands on it, our pill talisman mountain strength will definitely increase greatly. A divine light flashed in Xiao Hong's eyes, revealing a trace of passion and greed. The elixir upgrading secret technique was extremely precious. The blood spirit elixir upgrading secret technique was the only one in the entire pill talisman mountain. Moreover, only a few people were qualified to practice it. It was a secret technique that defied the natural order and was incomparably profound. But now, Xiao Hong had discovered a new secret technique to increase his core. Naturally, he couldn't remain calm. That is, Master Jiu's eyes flickered. He suddenly thought of something, and a strange look appeared in his eyes. Because his attention had always been on Ling Xiao, and his cultivation was far superior to Tai Yunzi and Xiao Hong, he discovered a trace of tribulation chi. He never thought that Ling Xiao would use such a method to force the Saint Spirit pill to break through. Rumble. Even though Ling Xiao had used tribulation chi to activate the pill tribulation, it still caused a vast amount of heavenly power. The void trembled violently as the heavenly power pressed down on Ling Xiao. It was as if millions of ancient divine mountains were pressing down on him. Ling Xiao couldn't help but tremble as he felt the terrifying pressure. Just 28 pill tribulations isn't enough. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely bright. As the lightning in his palm rose, a few more strands of tribulation chi silently merged with the Saint Spirit pill. Boom! The 29th pill tribulation descended. The Saint Spirit pill began to tremble violently. From the 28th pill tribulation onwards, it turned into silver-white lightning. It contained an extremely terrifying destructive power, as if it wanted to turn everything into dust. Even with Ling Xiao's protection, the Saint Spirit pill was unable to withstand such terrifying power. Ling Xiao could already feel that if there was another pill tribulation, the Saint Spirit pill would reach its limit. Again, Ling Xiao's face was a little pale. The majestic pressure pressed down on every inch of his skin, but Ling Xiao still forcibly activated a few more tribulation chi. They directly rushed into the sky and integrated into the Saint Spirit pill. The 30th pill tribulation descended. It was an extremely blazing silver lightning. It was extremely terrifying and contained the power to destroy everything. In an instant, it lit up the entire world. The vast power of heaven descended. Although the alchemists around Ling Xiao were protected by the boundary of the stone platform, they were still affected. They couldn't help but tremble as if they were struck by lightning. They spat out mouthfuls of blood, and the pills they refined were instantly reduced to dust. No, miserable cries rang out one after another. The alchemists looked at Ling Xiao with eyes filled with hatred. In an instant, their eyes turned blood red. Among them, Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma were the most miserable. They were the closest to Ling Xiao and were at the crucial moment of condensing their pills. However, before they could start condensing their pills, they felt the terrifying power of heaven descending. Following that, two violent explosions rang out. Rumble! Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma's pill furnaces exploded with a loud bang. A month's worth of effort was wasted in an instant. Master Ziyang and Poison Grandma's faces became extremely ferocious in an instant. Their eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. "Zhao Ritian, I'm going to kill you!" Poison Grandma shrieked. She couldn't hold it in any longer. She leaped up and smashed her huge dragon head walking stick towards Ling Xiao. She was about to go crazy from anger. She had suffered a great loss at Ling Xiao's hands in the small pill talisman realm. However, she didn't expect to be affected by Ling Xiao in the last round of refining pills. Master Ziyang's eyes were also filled with killing intent. The horsetail whisk in his hands scattered 3,000 rays of light, shooting towards the Saint Spirit pill in the void. The two of them had originally made up their minds to secretly tamper with Ling Xiao's pill refinement at a critical moment, causing Ling Xiao's pill refinement to fail. However, before they could tamper with Ling Xiao's pill refinement, the vast heavenly might that Ling Xiao had drawn over caused them to suffer a great loss. No matter how scheming they were, they couldn't stand it at this moment. Shameless! Lin Shi and Jin Sei's eyes turned cold as they shouted coldly. Chapter 1904. Kill him. You have to kill him. Xiao Rui and Huang Xuanzong's eyes lit up as they shouted in their hearts. They couldn't wait for Venerable Ziyang and Poison Grandma to kill Ling Xiao. You're courting death. Master Jiu's eyes flashed. Master Ziyang and Poison Granny dared to fight in front of him. They dared to act so recklessly in the ceremony of alchemy talismans. It was a challenge to the dignity of Alchemy Talisman's mountain. He immediately waved his sleeve, and a blazing beam of holy light appeared, blocking Ling Xiao from the two of them. Boom! Just as Venerable Ziyang and Poison Granny were about to injure Ling Xiao, a surge of divine energy erupted and blasted the two of them away. Ling Xiao took the opportunity to leap into the sky. When the 30th pill tribulation dissipated, he grabbed the Saint Spirit pill in his palm. The Saint Spirit pill buzzed in Ling Xiao's palm, as if it had a spiritual nature. The resplendent golden glow dyed Ling Xiao's entire body gold, and the mysterious fragrance caused Ling Xiao to feel refreshed, as if all the exhaustion in his body had disappeared at this moment. The lightning that filled the sky slowly dissipated. Ling Xiao stood in the air. His robe was whiter than snow. The Saint Spirit pill was dazzling, making him look even more mysterious. After a month of sleepless alchemy, coupled with the last few alchemy tribulations, Ling Xiao felt very tired. The power of his primordial spirit was greatly depleted. Even though Ling Xiao had the inheritance of the Hunyuan alchemy saint, he was still very tired this time. However, the result was still very satisfying for Ling Xiao. A 4th grade Saint Spirit pill and 30 pill tribulations. He had already surpassed Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan. 30 pill tribulations and a 4th grade Saint Spirit pill. This is too inconceivable. Am I dreaming? The champion of the pill conference is actually Zhao Ritian? Someone muttered to himself as he stared at Ling Xiao's figure in the sky. His face was filled with disbelief. Yeah. I originally thought that the champion of the pill conference would be between Zhuo Bufan and Ling Xiao. I didn't expect it to be Zhao Ritian. Dark horse, he's definitely a dark horse. I can imagine that after today, Zhao Ritian's name will definitely spread throughout the entire realm of the gods. With such a peerless talent in alchemy, I'm afraid that he will become a hot commodity. The 12 great immortal sanctuaries will not be able to sit still and will come to recruit him. Pill Seal Mountain has miscalculated this time. Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked at Ling Xiao with reverence in their eyes. In this world, the strong were still respected. When Ling Xiao displayed his great talent and strength, everyone's expressions changed. A fourth-grade Saint Spirit pill, a fourth-grade Saint Spirit pill. He must have a huge secret on him. I heard from Xiao Rui that the inheritance of the primordial chaos alchemy saint appeared in the void sacred world. Could it be that Zhao Ritian obtained the inheritance? Xiao Hong's expression was originally extremely ugly. After all, he had been slapped in the face time and time again by Ling Xiao. He even had the intention to kill Ling Xiao in his heart. However, on second thought, he could no longer remain calm when he thought of the primordial chaos alchemy saint's inheritance that had just appeared in the void sacred world. His heart was burning with greed. The primordial chaos alchemy saint was one of the strongest alchemy saints in the ancient era. He was far more powerful than the alchemy saints of Pill Seal Mountain. Moreover, when he thought of the powerful inheritance and elixir formula that the primordial chaos alchemy saint had, Xiao Hong's heart became even more greedy. He must capture Zhao Ritian and find out the secret on him. He was now 90% sure that the primordial chaos alchemy saint's inheritance was with Zhao Ritian. When he thought of this, the displeasure in his heart disappeared. Xiao Hong was already thinking of how to capture Zhao Ritian and interrogate him for the secret on him. Guru Ziyang and Poison Grandma, who were sent flying by Master Jiao, could feel the vast saint's aura. They could not help but shiver and immediately sober up. Their eyes were filled with fear as they prostrated themselves on the ground, not daring to attack Ling Xiao again. They did not doubt that Master Jiao would really kill them if they dared to make the slightest move. Even though they hated Ling Xiao to the extreme, they did not dare to make the slightest move at this moment. The fact that Ling Xiao was able to concoct a grade 4 Saint Spirit pill shocked countless people. However, it also affected some of the alchemists nearby, causing their efforts to go to waste. Originally, they wanted to cause trouble for Ling Xiao. However, when they saw Master Jiao siding with Ling Xiao, even though they wanted to curse in their hearts, they didn't dare to go up against him. Very quickly, the remaining alchemists completed the process of condensing their elixir. Among the thousands of alchemists, other than Ling Tian, most of them had only refined half-step Saint Spiritual pills. Less than 100 of them had refined a Saint Spiritual pill. Among these 100 alchemists, only 7 or 8 of them had refined a second-grade Saint Spiritual pill and above. This included Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, Zhuo Bufan, and the others. The grand alchemy competition was considered to have ended. Master Jiao stood in the air and swept his gaze across the crowd. He said loudly, "This grand alchemy competition is considered to have ended. I will now announce the results of the grand alchemy competition." The top 10 of this grand alchemy competition are Zhuo Bufan, Ling Xiao, Lu Wenlong, Xiao Rui, Huang Xuanzong. The champion of the grand alchemy competition is Zhao Ritian. Master Jiao's voice was extremely clear as it traveled into everyone's ears. At that moment, Zhuo Bufan, who had been unconscious, slowly woke up. He happened to hear Master Jiao's words. His eyes widened as he struggled to stand up. "What? I am the champion of the grand alchemy competition. Who is Zhao Ritian?" "At Master Jiao, are you wrong? The champion of the grand alchemy competition is me, not Zhao Ritian." Zhuo Bufan's face was filled with anxiety as he stared at Master Jiao. The champion of the Grand Alchemy Talisman ceremony was too important to him. Even the second place was meaningless to him. Only the champion of the Grand Alchemy competition was something he had to fight for. Otherwise, he would not have used his blood essence to cast the Blood Spirit Elixir upgrading technique to forcefully raise the 7-star Sacred Heart Elixir to a 4th-grade Saint Spiritual pill. However, just as Zhuo Bufan finished speaking, he felt that the people around him were looking at him strangely. "Young Master, Master Jiao's announcement was right. When you were unconscious just now, Zhao Ritian refined a 4th-grade Saint Spiritual pill and passed through 30 pill tribulations." The gray-robed elder beside Zhuo Bufan said awkwardly. His eyes were filled with helplessness. "What? 4th-grade Saint Spiritual pill? 30 lightning tribulations? Impossible, this is impossible." Zhuo Bufan's face instantly turned pale as he mumbled to himself. He seemed to have lost his soul, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. In the end, he spat out a mouthful of blood. His head tilted to one side as he fainted again. He fainted from anger? Zhuo Bufan is too pitiful. A trace of sympathy appeared in everyone's eyes. Anyone who heard this result would have fainted from anger. After all, to see the alchemy champion get his hands on the championship and then watch it slip away, this kind of huge blow was not something an ordinary person could bear. Chapter 1905. The Grand Alchemy competition had ended. No one had expected Ling Xiao to become a dark horse. He had emerged from the crowd of alchemists and won the Grand Alchemy competition. Zhao Ritian and Zhuo Bufan, who were favored by everyone, had lost without a doubt. Zhuo Bufan was so angry that he vomited blood and fainted. Buzz! A light flashed in Master Jiao's palm, and a black flame appeared instantly. It contained a terrifying destructive power that seemed to be able to corrode everything. Zhao Ritian, this is the reward for the Grand Alchemy competition, the bone-chilling flame. Master Jiao smiled faintly. He then placed the bone-chilling flame in a white jade bottle and handed it to Ling Xiao. What? It's the bone-chilling flame? I heard that the bone-chilling flame is ranked 340th on the origin source list. It's the origin source flame that was born in the land of extreme Yin. It can corrode everything and is extremely terrifying. Everyone was shocked when they saw the bone-chilling flame in Master Jiao's palm. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Although the bone-chilling flame was not ranked as high as the Xiantian origin source flame, it was extremely rare. It contained the origin source of extreme Yin, and its attack power was extremely terrifying. Even a saint would not want to be contaminated by the bone-chilling flame. I heard that the origin source flames can devour each other to evolve. Zhuo Bufan obtains the bone-chilling flame, he might be able to evolve the Xiantian origin source flame even more. What a pity! Devour to evolve? You're thinking too much. The origin source flames are all rare treasures. Even if a higher-ranked origin source flame wants to devour a lower-ranked origin source flame, the conditions are extremely harsh. The success rate is extremely low. Otherwise, Pill Talisman Mountain would have given the bone-chilling flame to Zhuo Bufan. This is the bone-chilling flame. Even many alchemy saints don't have the origin source flame. I'm afraid Pill Talisman Mountain has miscalculated this time. Everyone stared at the bone-chilling flame and disgust. Fortunately, Zhuo Bufan had fainted. Otherwise, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Zhuo Bufan had already regarded the bone-chilling flame as his, but now it had flown away and landed in Ling Xiao's hands. Bone-chilling flame? Thank you, Master Jiao. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. He took the bone-chilling flame and bowed to Master Jiao. You don't need to thank me. This is what you deserve, Master Wine said with a faint smile. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He could feel the heaven-devouring fire in his body emitting waves of desire. It was as if it desired the bone-corroding cold flame very much. If it weren't for Ling Xiao suppressing it, it would have directly charged out. Could it be that the heaven-devouring fire wants to devour the bone-corroding cold fire? Although he had heard that origin flames could devour one another, the sky-devouring fire was only on par with Saint Flames right now. He did not dare to take the risk and let the sky-devouring fire devour it. Moreover, now was not the time. Sensing the strong fluctuation of the sky-devouring fire, Ling Xiao planned to find a time to give it a try. If the sky-devouring fire could really devour the bone-corroding cold fire, it might be able to improve his sky-devouring secret skill, which had been stagnant for a long time. The top 10 in the Pill Dao competition this time possessed the qualifications to enter the Pill Scripture Pavilion on my Mount Pill Talisman to comprehend the quintessence of the Pill Dao. Every single one of them will be able to obtain an ancient pill formula. Will all of you choose to head to the Pill Scripture Pavilion now or head there after the competition ends? Master Wine's gaze landed on Ling Xiao and the others as he spoke with a smile. I choose to head to the Pill Scripture Pavilion now. Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up as he spoke immediately. Xiao Rui, Huang Xuanzong, and the others also chose to head to the Pill Scripture Pavilion now without any hesitation. Although they were all genius disciples of Mount Pill Talisman, they knew what the Pill Scripture Pavilion meant to them. Even with their status, they had only been there a few times. We'll head there after the competition. Lu Wenlong thought for a moment. He wanted to wait for the results of Lu Qinghuan's Talisman Dao competition. Ling Xiao pondered for a moment and glanced at Jin Sei in the distance. However, Jin Sei seemed to know what Ling Xiao was thinking. She transmitted her voice to Ling Xiao, "Go to the Pill Scripture Pavilion. I won't participate in the Talisman Dao competition. This time, it's purely for Lin Shi." "Alright." Jin Sei, "Wait for me." Ling Xiao thought for a moment and spoke to Jin Sei seriously. Ling Xiao did not know why, but he felt a sense of danger. That sense of danger forced him to choose to enter the Pill Scripture Pavilion in advance to find the pill formula of the eternal creation pill. Ling Xiao participated in the alchemy talisman ceremony for the pill formula of the eternal creation pill. As for the Pill Scripture Pavilion, it did not attract him. After all, the inheritance of the Chaos Essence Alchemy Saint and the Sun Moon Alchemy Sect were in Ling Xiao's mind. Although the Pill Talisman Mountain was known as the Holy Land of Alchemy Talismans, it had only obtained part of the Sun Moon Alchemy Sect's inheritance. "I choose to enter the Pill Scripture Pavilion now," Ling Xiao said calmly. "Alright. Next, I'll bring you to the Pill Scripture Pavilion. As for what you can comprehend there, it will depend on your luck." Master Jiao smiled faintly. Then, his gaze paused on Ling Xiao for a moment. "Don't worry, Master Jiao. When I come out of the Pill Scripture Pavilion, I'll go to the 8-treasure Lotus Merit Pool to search for Xiao Yu's soul." Ling Xiao knew what Master Jiao was thinking and transmitted his voice to him. "I believe in you." Master Jiao took a deep breath and said. Although he had already advanced to the sage stage, he could not help but feel excited at this moment. "Senior Brother Jiao, you still have to preside over the Talisman Dao competition here. Why don't I bring them to the Pill Scripture Pavilion?" Xiao Hong, who was standing in front of Master Jiao, suddenly smiled and said with a bright light in his eyes. "You're going? Forget about it. I'll be back soon. There's no need to go through so much trouble." Master Jiao frowned slightly. He glanced at Xiao Hong and rejected him in the end. "Alright, Senior Brother Jiao, come back soon. You still need to preside over the situation here." Xiao Hong did not force him and smiled faintly. However, his gaze paused on Ling Xiao for a moment before he left without a trace. "Xiao Hong is hostile towards me?" Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. His divine senses were extremely sharp, and he instantly sensed the hostility hidden in Xiao Hong's gaze. Could it be that the sense of danger came from Xiao Hong? Ling Xiao thought to himself. I don't seem to have offended Xiao Hong. Could it be because of Xiao Rui? Ling Xiao's thoughts turned, and he started to be alert. "Come with me," Master Jiao said to Ling Xiao and the others. Then he waved his sleeves and a blazing light bloomed. The void in front of Master Jiao instantly broke open. The void turbulence surged, and chaotic fog filled the air. A void passage was formed in front of Master Jiao. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.